sun's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Managed Center, Cleveland. Again. And I couldn't tell you too much, to be honest.
Okay, I'm just curious. Typically a successful NHL team, could possibly mean a successful AHL team.
Yeah, absolutely, and you certainly do see that trickle down sometimes, and it was part of certainly what helped Cleveland at the time. Lake Erie captured the Calder Cup last year. Their NHL affiliate, the Columbus Blue Jackets, were not in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and so when you get those sort of situations, instead of having maybe 2 or 3 of your key players up as the quote-unquote black aces, guys that are practicing with the NHL club during the playoffs but not really expected to play, those guys end up on your roster during the Calder Cup playoffs as opposed to being in the NHL, can make a big difference to your club. So here we go. Puck is set to drop, and we are underway at the BMO Harris Bank Center. Game number 5 on the year for Rockford. They're second on home ice. The Ice Hogs in the white jerseys are skating from left to right to begin this contest. Puck is back towards the blue line, but it ends up bouncing back out to center before being knocked back down into the Rockford zone. Carl Dahlstrom, first one to find it there, and then got some help from Luke Johnson, who was able to spin the puck to Brandon Maschinter. Real confident play off the far wall there as he fired a backhand pass to Ville Polka, and that opened up an awful lot of ice for the Rockford Ice Hogs to get it back out through center and down into the offensive zone. Puck is then moved around to the near wing side and chopped back out through center. Tapped in by the Rockford Ice Hogs. Cyphers behind the net, swings the puck around off to the right wing wall, and then it's moved up by Daniel Czar and back out through center. Victor Svedberg working his way down to the right corner. First one of that puck trying to clear a pass forward. It was picked off by Nick Mutry. And with that, the Ice Hogs able to recover and toss the puck back out through center ice into the neutral zone before seeing Cleveland dump it right back in. 1 minute, 15 seconds gone in period number 1. No scoring so far. Pass from the far boards. A little bit of a deflection as it now is lifted high up in the air. Mark McNeil, who had an outstanding game for Rockford in last night's contest, gave chase briefly before Spencer Abbott returned on the forecheck. Now out through center ice once again as the Monsters begin to work it into the Rockford Ice Hog defensive zone. Gustafsson couldn't get a puck free. It's back to the blue line. Moved quickly across left wing side. Oleg Yavenko down the wall. Snapped a pass across. Nobody able to get a stick blade on that out in front. And instead it comes to Spencer Abbott, who will lift a backhand feed to Mark McNeil. And he's able to toss it over the blue line. Allows Rockford to make a line change here. Meanwhile, the Monsters start to move back the other way. Tossed up through center, gloved down by the combination of Broadhurst for Cleveland, as well as Lundberg for Rockford. Neither one of those two players ended up with control. It was moved across the ice before being dumped down to the Rockford zone. Penalty call is now on the way. Robin Norrell coming back into his own end, got latched on a little bit that time. Looked like it would be a holding penalty against the Ice Hog defenseman, so not quite 3 minutes into the game. The Ice Hogs shorthanded early on, no score in this contest.
So you mentioned Broadhurst. Broadhurst used to play here in Rockford for a couple of years. I recognize that. He also played for the Green Bay Gamblers up north in the United States Hockey League.
And he has been very, very good so far for the Monsters club. He, TJ Tynan, and Aaron Palushai combining to certainly be the biggest threat offensively early in the season. Tynan and Broadhurst tying for the team lead with 4 points apiece. Time of this penalty, 2 minutes, 18 seconds. Into period number 1, it will lead to a 5-on-4 advantage for the Lake Erie, or I should say the Cleveland Monsters. Cities do that name change, and it just sticks in my head for the whole season.
Sure.
But Cleveland is on the power play here as we get a face-off down inside the Rockford zone. It's whipped back out through center ice before the Ice Hogs eventually are able to clear it all the way back down to the other end. Moved around in behind the net. It'll bounce back out towards the right wing side and then dumped into the attacking zone. Worked around in behind the net. That one off a stick blade, and then it's moved across to the left side for Scott. Gathered up now as it's taken control of by Kukin. Gave it down the boards for Czar. Back up to Kukin. He holds on and then gives it down the left side. It's Czar up to the right wing side. Big slap shot. That misses just wide of the net. Moved around off to the left wing corner. Rockford not able to clear. High slot area snapshot off a body. Bjorkstrand with the opportunity. Nearly bounced right back to him. Instead to the blue line where it's held by Kukin. Gave it to the right side. Now Czar left side. Played it right out in front. And one touch play by Scotty. Just sent it wide of the net. Rockford not able to clear. Bjorkstrand over to the blue line. Kukin a diving play. Held for Czar. Wrister. And a blocker save made by Caruth. Rebound gathered up by Scott. He moved it to Czar in the left circle. Good looking power play here for the Monsters. Put down in behind the net for Scott. He got locked up with the puck. Stays alive. Czar onto the high slot area for Bjorkstrand. Takes it wide down the right wing wall. Up top to Kukin. Now the left side. One time drive from Czar. Partially blocked by Polka. Skipped off the side of the net. And finally the Ice Hogs able to gather control and clear it down. Still 35 seconds left on the Monster power play.
You know, they're doing a nice job of moving the umbrella to a box and one, and they're not doing stationary work. They're moving very well.
And that can certainly generate some chances against the penalty kill unit, no matter how quickly that PK is shifting. Obviously down a skater, and the Monsters making good use of that here. Still 17 seconds left on the Cleveland power play. Puck away to the near side, eventually gathered up by Mark McNeil. He's able to race up ice into the attacking zone. Snapped a shot. Thiessen able to make the save. And the rebound is gathered by Cleveland. Here comes a 2-on-1 the other direction over the blue line right side. Palushai gave it towards Broadhurst, but a puck was bouncing on him. Hopped right over his stick blade. Penalty expires to Norrell. He races back into the play as a backdoor pass. Bounced off a body, then Norrell getting into the action. Kept it wide along the right wing side. Rockford not quite able to clear it. A one-time shot off a quick deflection in front, and it's gathered by Matt Caruth. He's able to hang on. 15:27 still left, period number one. No score between Rockford and Cleveland.
You know, they seem to have a little better jump than we have right now. I don't know if you feel that too, but that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and certainly an early first period power play.
That always helps.
Helps out with that, yeah. See what Rockford can do to sort of turn the momentum back towards their direction. Yavenko got the puck off the attacking zone draw for the Monsters. Then it's down low in behind the net. Gustafson able to get a piece of it. Back around towards the near side. Langlois out through center. Poked it free. Lundberg catches up to the puck. Trying to get a quick wrister away. Didn't have a whole lot of room as Thiessen came out to challenge. And the puck ends up bouncing off the goaltender and sailing wide. It's cleared down to the Rockford zone. Norrell racing back. Able to force that icing call before Jordan Maleta could catch up. 15:01 still left in period number one. We have no score in the contest.
You know, I've noticed, at least early on in the game, they're not really worried about our speed. They've pinched every time strong side. They haven't been bailing out early. Pretty aggressive.
Now, in between the icing calls, Gustafson was working his way into the zone. Brett Gallant was jawing at him, and the two ended up going sort of helmet to helmet against each other. Gallant's a pretty tough customer. Gustafson, not a guy who's really known for dropping the gloves. Not really sure what would have led to that altercation. Is this, you think, an instance of Gallant sort of trying to provide some energy to his team on an early Sunday game, or did you see something that I missed there, Tim?
No, I didn't see anything, but it actually, with this icing, it actually helps Cleveland right now, because look at the extra time they just got.
So perhaps a strategy there.
Yeah.
If so, nice bit of gamesmanship from Gallant. But you wouldn't think Gustafson would be a likely partner for him if the gloves were to come off. Brandon Mashinter, who's out there for Rockford right now as well, as the puck gets fired back down. Norrell, meanwhile, didn't like that. Maleta lost his edge and flew into Robin Norrell, took him out. A penalty is being assessed here. That was why the clock was stopped initially. Brandon Mashinter getting into it now with Gallant, and that would be a much more normal matchup, I think, in terms of a fight if it were Gallant versus Maschinter as opposed to Gallant versus Gustafson. But the penalty does get called against Cleveland, so Rockford with a power play chance of their own here now.
That's last night's. You're trying to figure it out.
So we got 5:09, the time of the penalty call. 5-on-4 is the advantage for Rockford. It's their first of the game. It was a tripping penalty against the Cleveland Monsters. In the penalty box is Jordan Maletta, the guy who ran into Robin Norrell. Norrell, of course, the player who was whistled for Rockford. Here's Caro, got it across to Abbott, far side, then a quick turnaround chance for McNeil off the side of the net. And that one was just turned wide by Thiessen. Racing over Gustafson off the right side point, couldn't quite get there in time to hold the puck. He did settle it into the neutral zone. Now swings a pass over towards Luke Johnson. Thought he had help from Abbott on his left. Puck was too far in front. Still Rockford doing a nice job working here on the forecheck. Eventually able to gain control. Abbott's pass off the mark for Carroll, who pulls it off the boards up top to Gustafson. Fake shot then off the left side. It's Abbott, top of the circle. Gives it down low to Mark McNeil. McNeil across to Caro off the right side. Thiessen down. And a wrister from Caro is fought off by Thiessen. Back to Caro off to the near side wall. He works to the blue line. Gustafson, high slot now. Abbott, top of the left side circle. Abbott works his way down the boards. Gives the puck to McNeil. Just offside the net. Trickles into the corner. Abbott involved. Had his stick lifted by Yavenko. Puck comes back to the blue line. Gustafson then across Caro. Gives it back up top. Johnson. A diving play to get that puck away provided by Hannikainen. Gustafson, nice hold just at the blue line. Gives it back to Caro, who walks in down the right side across Abbott. One time shot and the save is made by the netminder Thiessen. A failed clearing attempt there for the Monsters. Rockford able to get it back. It's McNeil off the far side boards. Curls back down to the corner as he hands off to Abbott. Now it's McNeil again to Abbott. Pass and a skate blade. Abbott gets it back after it bounced off of Cyphers. Now up top to Gustafson. Right wing side, it's Caro. 15 seconds left on the power play. Gustafson with a wrister. That one bounced off of Johnson. Wide of the net. Caro recovers to Gustafson. High slot. Now Johnson. Quick redirect out in front. Looked like that may have caught the iron. Right behind the netminder, Thiessen. Caro walks in. Tries the wrist shot. He missed it just wide. Hits around to Abbott. Back down to the corner. Handled there by McNeil. Up top, Gustafson. Bounced away from him. Rockford in the middle of the line change here out of the penalty box. Maletta comes in one-on-one against Schilling. His wrister is deflected by Schilling. That puck popped out of play, and with 12 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in period number one, a tremendous power play by Rockford, but it comes up just empty. No score so far, period number one. Back with more after this right here on your Rockford Ice Hogs Broadcast Network. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills alongside Tim Mattilla. It's a 0-0 game between the Ice Hogs and the Monsters. Puck dropped down in the Ice Hog defensive zone following the break. It was won by Cleveland, but turned over. Here comes Langlois as he tried to thread the needle on a pass. Brandon Maschinter was crashing the cage. Never got through to him. Instead, Tynan the other direction. Snapped a shot that got blocked away by Svedberg, and a penalty call is on the way here. Slashing the call. Looked like Matt Caruth had his stick knocked out of his hand, and indeed, Palushai to the box. Another power play for Rockford. Want to go back real quick, though, Tim. The Ice Hogs looked like they nearly scored. Johnson with a redirect in the slot. Did you see that puck hit the goalpost? Is that what
That's what it looked like? It was a nice little tip, for sure.
The Ice Hogs, I thought, had really good puck movement on that last power play and a chance to do it here again.
And once again, the key is winning that faceoff, which they did last time.
See if the Ice Hogs can follow it up with another one. Aaron Palushai, the guilty party here for slashing. He knocked the stick out of the hand of Ice Hogs goaltender Matt Caruth. Second power play of the game for Rockford. Cleveland able to quickly spin it down to the Ice Hogs zone. However, they'll have to start out their own end, will the Rockford Ice Hogs. Here's Gustafson, gives it now to Luke Johnson. Finds the blue line, wraps the puck into the zone. Everybody allows it to go back to Spencer Abbott. Left side point now to the right, Gustafson. And a big one-time drive. Thiessen just got the blocker on that one. Down to Mark McNeil. He takes it into the corner, whipped around the boards to Caro. Right half wall. Back now to Gustafson. Pressured there. He digs it back down behind the net. McNeil quickly to Abbott. Up at the left side point. He got hit by Maleta, pinned into the boards. Puck is locked up there. Help coming for Luke Johnson as he was able to tie up also. Battle still for the puck. The Ice Hogs get control. It's Caro off the right side circle. Now to the left wing. Abbott walking in with a backhand chance right through the blue pane. Rebound comes to Caro. Hit the back of Mark McNeil. The goaltender was down and out. And that's just tough luck again to this Rockford power play that's already hit a goalpost. 1 minute gone. Ice Hogs back into their own zone to control.
Pretty good vision, though. I mean, that was nice hockey right there.
Yeah, and you like, I think, everything that happened there. Just Caro had to try to shoot one through a maze of legs in front of the net with the goaltender down and out. Now nearly Thiessen turns it over, stuck in his skate blades just to the side of the net. And controlled by the Monsters to the blue line, no further. Billy Polka, left wing side, Svedberg winds, fires off a body in front, they score! Shot from Victor Svedberg off the left side point. I believe it hit the shin guards of Kyle Bond in front of the net. And the Ice Hogs strike on the power play and jump up by the 1-0 lead. 11 minutes still left to go here in period number 1. There's that strong puck movement that we saw on the first power play. It worked for Rockford again on this one. And the puck does eventually find its way into the back of the net, getting a good look at it on the Jumbotron now. Ooh, I couldn't tell from there. It looked live to me like it bounced off the knee of Kyle Bond. We'll see what the announcement says.
It certainly sounded like it was tipped. I just don't know by which player.
So we'll see who gets credit for this one. 9 minutes into period number 1. The Ice Hogs grab a 1-0 lead on a power play goal. Svedberg will be getting an assist, it certainly appears, as I don't think he'll get credited with the goal. My guess is Kyle Bond. We'll see how things turn out. 10.5 left to go, period number 1. Rockford up by a 1-0 score over Cleveland. Still here in period number 1. First time this season the Ice Hogs have scored in the first frame. Now a turnover in front, picked off by Mosey. Rebound loose off the body of the netminer Thiessen. Mosey got another whack at it. Couldn't quite find a way to put it home, and it's a 3-on-2 now the other way. Cross-ice feed, Palushai, and a one-time drive, and a glove save is made by Rockford goaltender Matt Caruth. And the loudspeaker here, Chris Toltzman on the PA, did just announce that Kyle Bond got credit for it. Svedberg and Polka, the 2 assists on the goal. And the Ice Hogs are right back into the offensive zone. Around towards the left wing side. It's off the stick of Norrell in the neutral zone. He didn't have much of a play except to get that one back in down low. Rockford offside, had to come back and tag up. So Kyle Bond gets his first of the year. Here's Langlois down the wall, skates down the boards, threw one right out in front. PC Labrie crashing the net, had his stick lifted. Could be an odd man rush the other way for Cleveland. Pass across, all alone. Gallant walks in, shot, and a big save is made by Matt Caruth. Brett Gallant all alone in the slot, and Caruth shut him down. And the Ice Hogs will now come the other way as the puck is flipped around the wall by Carrick. PC Labrie stops it up along the left wing side. A quick backhand pass up to Cyphers. And then he swings it free towards the far side of his own end for a one-touch play to the captain, Ryan Craig. He had it poked off his stick just as he crossed the blue line. Johnson now from Langlois into the zone. Slipped by one defender, through a backhander, hoping for Maschenter. Too far in front, cleared to the blue line, and then taken away from Cameron Schilling. Craig up to Mutri. Good speed down the right side wall. Tapped away by the stick of Cameron Schilling. Then it's Jeremy Langlois. He begins to work up ice. Goes all the way across now to Johnson. Luke Johnson just onside. Oh, nope. Offside will be the ruling by the on-ice officials. And with 8:48 left here in the first, it continues to be a 1-0 lead for Rockford. Power play goal from Kyle Bond. More coming up just after the break right here on your Rockford Ice Hogs Broadcast Network. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills standing alongside Tim Matilla. Still 8:48 left to go in the first frame. 1-0 is the Rockford lead on a goal off the stick of Kyle Bond, which has given Rockford that advantage. It came on the power play. It was the second of the night for Rockford with the extra man advantage. The first one did not score, but did hit the goalpost. Rockford's power play has looked very good early on here today. Here's a long wrister from Milletta as he crosses the blue line off the left side. He missed it wide of the net. Ends up in behind the cage to Johnson. Now picked up Dahlstrom. One-touch play to Langlois. Tries to work one-on-one into the zone. Threw the puck to open ice. Wanted Johnson. It was taken away. Rockford does a nice job to hold the offensive zone. Puck ends up off to the right wing side. Battle right there as Johnson able to go into the boards with Milletta, who didn't like that too much, and gives Johnson a couple of whacks for his efforts. Luke Johnson entering his first professional season after winning a national championship last year with North Dakota. Has not yet engaged in his first professional fight. Here's Mark McNeil. Sends a pass across to Spencer Abbott. Now through center. Norrell dumps the puck in. Took a shove from Scott, but got the puck deep for Rockford. It's Yavenko. Speaking of tough guys on the ice in this matchup, he certainly can't be excluded from that conversation. One of the penalty minute leaders in the entire American Hockey League for a good chunk of the season last year, and doing all that as a rookie as well. Caro tries to stick handle in, lost the puck to Yavenko, who then shoved Caro down to the ice surface. Puck bounces back down to the Rockford zone. That was a dangerous chance for Bjorkstrand. If that puck had maybe hopped the other way, it would have landed right on his tape. Here's Svedberg in towards the left wing side. Snapped shot high off his shin guard. Knocked down. Would have been a high stick, I think, and that is the indication by the referee. But pretty good hand-eye coordination right out there in front to take that one from sky high and nearly tap it home. The whistle does blow to stop the play. 6:57 still left in the first. Rockford leads 1-0.
Yeah, but once again, I did like the fact that Svedberg, the defenseman, did create some offense and an opportunity. I think we can get more offense that way if we let the D do a little more jump.
The Ice Hawks looked like maybe that started to be a focus last game as well. We were talking, Tim, about how it seemed that Milwaukee, as the game went on, was going more and more to those high end-over-end dump-ins, maybe trying to prevent the D from activating. So perhaps that is an area of focus for this Rockford Ice Hawks club. Jake Dowell able to stop up a puck off the far boards. Kyle Bond came over to help out, and with it, the Ice Hawks able to clear their defensive zone. Puck ends up all the way back into the Monsters' end. Here comes Cleveland working forward. Dumped down to the right side corner. Just under 6.5 left to go. In period number 1, the Rockford Ice Hawks have a 1-0 lead. Long slap shot from the blue line is deflected away by Caruth. Back to the blue line, then off to the right wing side. Having to stick handle briefly with that puck was Siebenaller. Now it's settled down. Tynan off to the right side. Broadhurst, Siebenaller, high slot area, stick handling with it there. Gave it down the right side. Another opportunity towards the front of the cage. That was blocked away by the Ice Hawk defense. Now it's moved towards the left wing side. Golubev had it briefly. Ice Hawks take it away. Bond crosses center and flings the puck back into the offensive zone. Clearing opportunity, glove down by Labrie, then able to knock it forward towards Carrick. Back around to the right wing side, Cyphers. Checked by Mosey, a good hit behind the net delivered by Labrie. Sent Siebenaller down. The Ice Hawks hold the zone with a wrister off the left wing side. That one blocked away by Siebenaller. Cleared all the way down to the Rockford zone. Perfect touch on that one, not quite strong enough for icing. 5:20 still left to go here in period number 1. The Ice Hawks lead 1-0. Shots on goal are 8-6 favoring Rockford. I think that shot count would fairly indicate the way this game has been going. Pretty even in the total shots on goal. I think it's been pretty even in the scoring chance totals as well. Puck dumped in, took a weird skip right out in front of the netminder, Brad Thiessen. He didn't have any trouble with it though. He gloved it out of midair and holds on with the Ice Hawks pressuring. 5 minutes and 1 second still left in period number 1. Rockford has a 1-0 lead over Cleveland. We'll take our final break of period number 1. Be back with more Ice Hawks action coming up after this right here on your Rockford Ice Hawks Broadcast Network. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills, Tim Matilla with you here this afternoon. Rockford leads 1-0 over Cleveland. The Ice Hogs have not been able to turn home a victory in any of their last 7 meetings against the Monsters, as a puck is rolled back down in on Rockford goaltender Matt Carruth. But if you throw out the 2 playoff games that were played here at the BMO, Rockford actually fared quite well against Cleveland at the time Lake Erie here last season, going 4-0 at home and winning all of those games in regulation. So maybe channeling a little bit of that today.
Well, and plus the playoffs, didn't a lot of guys get called up to Chicago?
Yeah, absolutely, and maybe the most important one of those was their goaltender, Michael Layton. And Matt Carruth came in and did a great job filling in for Layton, but it's just so hard to replace a player like Layton, who had been around for forever. He was the all-time leader in shutouts in the American Hockey League. He had been to a Stanley Cup final with Philadelphia and was sort of the guy that carried them to that final appearance as well. I mean, you just don't replace a goaltender like that in the final month of the season. So definitely key players missing for Rockford towards the stretch run that time, as the puck is around into the offensive zone now. The Ice Hogs trying to get back on track against its Monsters team. They lead 1-0. Lots of hockey left still. 4:08 to go in the first. A bouncing puck on Carruth. Didn't want to play that one out, but then looked up and saw that nobody was around for Cleveland, and Rockford then quickly moved the puck forward, did not connect on a pass, and so icing is called against the Hogs. 3:58 still left in period number 1. Rockford up 1-0 over Cleveland. Lead to, of course, that defensive zone face-off in the Rockford end. Just to the left of their goaltender, Matt Carruth. Here's Scott off the face-off for Cleveland. He wins it back to the blue line. Siebenthaler with a wrister, and a penalty call stops the action. Rockford going back to the power play. Hannikainen whistled for interference right off the draw on this power play that's been very good for Rockford here in the first. We'll get another chance here with 3:54 remaining in the frame.
Well, they won the draw nice and clean and got a shot off, but part of that could have been because he was being interfered with, so he couldn't get out there to get to the point.
That certainly appears to be how the refereeing crew saw it. Interference is the penalty here against Cleveland. 16:06 the time of the call. We'll see what Rockford can do on this power play chance. 1 for 2 on the night, going to their 3rd man advantage opportunity. And they hit a goalpost on their first power play that did not score. Trying to get one here as the puck is sent in on goal. Thiessen down to the butterfly, makes the save. Just 9 seconds off the power play. 3:45 now left in period number 1, and a 1-0 lead for the Ice Hogs.
So it seems like the trend is Ted likes to go the first 30 seconds with 4 forwards and a defenseman, and then as the game progresses, go to 2 defensemen and 3 forwards.
So here we go, action back underway here as the puck is whipped around the boards and back down to the Rockford Ice Hogs zone. It barely got into that trapezoid that allows Carruth to play it as pressure was coming from Moutry, and then a very nice play in the neutral zone by Gustafson. Might have prevented a 2-on-0 chance. Instead, the puck is into the Ice Hog offensive zone. Carroll knocked down along the wall. And that sends the puck free for Scott. Here comes a 2-on-1 chance, shorthanded. Scott walks in, tries a cross-ice feed, and that one was blocked down by Spencer Abbott. Last man back was not one of the forwards known for his defensive prowess in Spencer Abbott, but he sure looked the part on that chance for the Monsters. Billy Polka leads the puck into the attacking zone, tried to drop off to Tanner Carroll, and this time Cleveland in the way and clears. A tough start to the power play this time around for Rockford. Still plenty of time, though, to work on it with 55 seconds remaining. It's Polka over the center ice red line. Dishes to Carrick. He puts on the brakes, leaves for Svedberg. Tried a big drive, broke his stick in half. Puck still toward the net. And Maschinter directed it just wide. Puck is then sent back down to the Rockford Ice Hog defensive zone. Svedberg wound up for that big blast of a slap shot. Unfortunately, his stick not strong enough to withstand it. Polka goes across to Schilling. And it's moved to the left side. Carrick down to Langlois. Works his way around to the far side. Langlois still with control. Gives it down in towards the left side corner. Backhand pass from Carrick. Cut off but held in by Langlois. And now around to Schilling. Polka sends one toward the cage. Rebound off the pad of Thiessen. And it hit the Skate blade of Carrick. Carrick now with it again. Tried to stuff it home from the short side. Thiessen had that one covered off the left goal post. Back down to the corner. Carrick out in front. High slot. Schilling winds up. Takes a shot. Lets it go and just misses it over the top of the bar. And as that shot was fired, Hannikainen leaves the penalty area. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Hannikainen hit by Schilling and knocked down on the near side wall. Victor Svedberg to the loose puck. Curls back down into his own zone and then works back up through center. He gives the puck to Baun. Baun had it picked off his stick blade by Palushai, sent forward now, and a quick play towards the front of the net could not be completed by Salaturo. Allows the Ice Hawks to come the other way, muscled free, Lundberg, toe drag, snapshot, Thiessen save, and the rebound was underneath the goaltender. He was looking around for it, but had it trapped under the pad. Really nice play by Martin Lundberg. He shakes off a check on the left side and then races to the cage. Thiessen comes up with a big stop there. 1:20 still left, period number 1. Ice Hawks lead 1-0.
Yeah, Thiessen's looking pretty good, actually.
Anton Forsberg has started all of the initial 3 games for Cleveland. They are playing in their 4th today. While Thiessen was out, once again welcoming a new baby. Thiessen comes back in time for this one and certainly looks sharp right now. Here's a shot right off the draw by Ville Polka. That one got through the traffic, and once again, not only does Thiessen make the save, but avoids surrendering any type of a rebound with a few Ice Hawks lurking. Probably the only real tough rebound he's given up so far in this game was on that last power play, but he at least was able to direct it off his pad so hard that when it got to Carrick, there was nothing he could do to handle it.
Yeah.
Puck to Rockford off the draw. Baun sent it towards the back door. Wanted Dowell. He was tangled up. Cyphers and Kukin both in the area. Dahlstrom, big slapper, and Thiessen made that stop. Sent the rebound to the far boards. Baun with it again. Dropped it off. Left side, Lundberg. Snapshot. Score! The Ice Hawks pouring on the pressure as time was winding down in the first, and Martin Lundberg finished that one off with a beautiful shot just underneath the crossbar and into the back of the cage, and the Ice Hawks jump up 2-0. 59.5 seconds left to go here in period number 1. And a great job there by Rockford, Tim, to just keep that pressure going in the attacking zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And that looked like a goal scorer's goal, the way he had to move his body, turn his body in position, and then snipe it top shelf. That was sweet. That's the same that got in the fight last night, right?
It was, yeah, exactly. And he had scored a goal the night before. Lundberg having a pretty good weekend for himself early on in this final game of the 3 contest set as the puck is in behind the net. But Lundberg, of course, that goal, it turned out to be the game winner against Grand Rapids on Friday. Got in a fight last night against the Milwaukee Admirals. Rockford up 2-0 here. That goal by Lundberg. Here's Chris Tolfman with the announcement.
Second of the season, scored by 25, Martin Lundberg. Assisted by 27, Kyle Baun, and 32, Carl Dahlstrom.
So Baun, who's already got a goal tonight, picks up an assist. Dahlstrom, who scored his first North American Pro goal yesterday, also with an assist. And a penalty call coming up here. I believe this one will go against the Rockford Ice Hawks. With 11.4 seconds left in the first period, Robin Norrell makes his second trip to the penalty box this game. You've talked about Rockford activating the defense, though, Tim, and while the first one had 2 defensemen assisting on the play, it was a power play goal, so maybe not quite as much of an example there, but on this one, an assist goes to Baun, 1 to Dahlstrom as well, so far out of the 4 assists that have been given to Rockford tonight, 3 of them have gone to their blue line.
Well, that's a good point. And that was a legitimate call, by the way. That interference, that was a good call.
Yeah, no complaints whatsoever from up here. 19:48, the time of the penalty. Here's the puck down the right side wing. Czar had it, got it back, big drive, and he missed it just wide. 2 seconds left in the period. Kukin sent it toward the cage, hit traffic in front, and that will put an end to period number 1. So the Rockford Ice Hawks, who had not scored a first period goal in any of the first 4 games this season, come out here in period number 1 during game number 5 and put home 2 strikes to open up the frame. And I thought Rockford really looked stronger and stronger as that period went on, probably aided a little bit by 3 straight penalty calls against Cleveland.
Well, no question about that, because when we talked at the beginning of the game, we both felt that Cleveland seemed like to have the better jump, and then we just progressively got better, and like you said, power plays matter.
They certainly do. The Ice Hawks have already scored once on the power play They got a lot of good momentum from their first power play that saw a shot ring off the goalpost on a nice redirect from Luke Johnson that sort of set up the opportunities to start going towards Rockford's way, with, of course, the Ice Hogs eventually drawing that third power play as well. We have an opportunity, though, here in just a second. We'll send it down towards the ice surface. Here's Kevin Peters. He is with Rockford's first goal scorer tonight, Kyle Bond.
Forward Kyle Bond.
Hello, I'm here with Ice Hog forward Kyle Bond. Kyle, big blast from Victor Svedberg sets up your first goal of the season. Take us through that goal.
Yeah, Vic's got a hard shot. I just went in the net and got kind of lucky, hit off my skate.
And this is the third time in 5 games you guys have seen the Monsters. How have those first 2 games helped prepare you for this one?
Yeah, we looked at video, but tonight's just about keeping things simple. It's the 3rd game in 3 nights, so we're just trying to play our game and not worry too much about what they're doing.
All right, thanks, Kyle. That was Ice Hogs forward Kyle Bond.
So Kevin Peters, an opportunity to catch up with Kyle Bond. He scored the first goal of this contest for the Rockford Ice Hogs as he was able to have that puck bounce off his shin guard. First, and Martin Lundberg finished that beneath the crossbar. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills alongside Tim Mattilla with you here as the Rockford Ice Hogs have a 2-0 lead over the Cleveland Monsters after 20 minutes worth of play. We move along to the Dental Division's first intermission report, and hopefully Rockford can keep up this type of hockey as this contest continues along. As mentioned earlier, they certainly have struggled against the Monsters, have the Ice Hogs, and we'll be looking to break what is currently a 7-game losing streak against Cleveland if you include the playoff games as well. And Tim, as you and I mentioned, not really fair to Rockford to include those. Their team was fairly decimated by the fact that the Hawks had made the playoffs while Columbus had not. So it was sort of like Cleveland got a boost of players back from the NHL, whereas Rockford had some departing. Take a quick look, though, at the scores around the American Hockey League. The Toronto Marlies in action earlier on this afternoon, hosting the Manitoba Moose, and it was a 4-0 win for Toronto there on home ice. Ended up going into overtime between Albany and Providence, but the Devils get the victory on the road in extra time. 4-3 the final score. Chicago and San Antonio locked into a 1-1 contest. Chicago got their first win of the year against San Antonio just yesterday. 3-1 St. John's up over Hartford. Still 40 minutes left in that contest. No score, end of one, between Wilkes-Barre Scranton and the Hershey Bears. Looking a little bit more closely to the way things have gone so far here in Rockford, the Ice Hogs able to get the scoring started in this contest with a power play strike. It came off the stick of Kyle Bond and allowed the Rockford Ice Hogs to jump up to that very important 1-0 lead. Billy Polka, left wing side, Svedberg winds, fires off a body in front, they score! Shot from Victor Svedberg off the left side point. I believe it hit the shin guards of Kyle Bond in front of the net, and the Ice Hogs strike on the power play and jump up by the 1-0 lead. That one off the shin guards of Kyle Bond, and it was some nice puck movement, Tim, from Rockford to sort of set that one up, and then you mentioned it, get those defensemen involved, and what happens? Svedberg winds up, big drive, puck ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, and we were giving Bond credit for being there. Everybody talks about presence in front of the net, but then very few guys actually do it. And if you do it, you typically get rewarded with a goal or maybe a call-up.
And Kyle Bond was there in front of the cage for that opportunity, and the puck ends up going off his shin guards and finds its way to the back of the net. But that was not the end of the scoring in the period, as the Rockford Ice Hogs were able to get yet another one, this time coming at even strength after a couple of really good power plays that happened for the Rockford Ice Hogs that they weren't quite able to score on. The first of those, a puck off the goalpost. The second one got out to a tough start, but Rockford poured on the pressure as the power play was winding down. But with 59 and a half seconds left to go in period number one, after a really strong shift in the attacking zone, it was Martin Lundberg who was able to finish off the play, put home a wrister right underneath the crossbar, and giving Rockford a 2-0 lead. Sent the rebound to the far boards. Bond with it again, dropped it off, left side, Lundberg, snapshot, score! The Ice Hogs pouring on the pressure as time was winding down in the first, and Martin Lundberg finished that one off with a beautiful shot just underneath the crossbar. That one from Martin Lundberg, and the Ice Hogs had maybe 2 or 3 good scoring chances before that goal. Nice persistence from Rockford to find a way to finish that off, Tim.
Yeah, very impressive. We both said we were very impressed. They've moved the puck well, and they've created opportunity. They got 21 shots, or how many did they have?
16 official
16
shots according to the score
period.
sheet here. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
So you hear that one. 16 shots from Rockford as we look at the overall stats. 8 coming from the Cleveland Monsters. Cleveland 0 for 2 on the power play, but they still have a minute 49 left on that second man advantage chance when the second period starts. Kyle Bond, Martin Lundberg scoring for Rockford. Svedberg, Polka, Bond, and Dahlstrom with assists in the game. Matt Caruth 8 for 8 in the cage for Rockford. Brad Thiessen was a little bit more under siege during that period, stopped 14 of 16. That's it for the Dental Dimensions first intermission report. 2-0. The Rockford Ice Hogs have the lead after one. Second period coming up just after this, right here on your Rockford Ice Hogs Broadcast Network. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Period number 2 just about to get started. The Ice Hogs will be short-handed for the first minute and 49 seconds, and players tangle up right off the draw. And welcome back to those of you tuned in on 1330 AM as well. Period just underway here in the second frame. Rockford up 2-0, 1:45 left on the Rockford penalty kill. And a face-off just outside the Ice Hog blue line. So here's a puck that gets snapped down ice by the Rockford Ice Hogs right off that neutral zone face-off all the way down into the Cleveland zone. Big penalty kill here to start the period for Rockford as they try to maintain that 2-0 advantage. Here's a centering feed. Nice job defensively as Cameron Schilling got in the way of that puck, prevented it from finding its target, and the Ice Hogs control and clear back down into the Cleveland zone. It's back now off to the near side wing. Round off the right wing side. Grabbed onto by Bjorkstrand, and then the puck is off the far side boards, fired down ice, where it will be forced to be played by Thiessen off to the near side. 1 minute still left to go here in this power play for the Monsters. Puck knocked up through center. Nice burst of speed by Hannikainen. Just had the puck chopped away at the last second before he could get that shot in on goal. Rockford once again wins the battle in their defensive end and finds a way to clear a puck back down into the Monsters' end. 40 seconds remaining on the Cleveland power play. PC Labrie chasing in the offensive zone. Couldn't quite catch up to that play in time as it was pushed up ice. Now Palushai, wrister, bounced off a body, comes back towards the blue line. Toe drag and a wrister provided that time by Cody Golubeff. And the shot was stopped by Ice Hogs goaltender Mac Carruth. 18:39 still left in the second period. 28 seconds left to go on this Rockford penalty kill. The Ice Hogs lead 2-0.
Ice Hogs were pretty disciplined, so when they dumped the puck in, they were changing because they don't want to get caught down in that zone. It's harder to change in the second period. So they were doing a very nice job, about 20 seconds and off, 20 and off. But the key was having control of the puck to dump it to make the change.
There's still some power play time available, but the Ice Hog penalty kill has done a nice job. Cameron Schilling now on the backhand, lifts the puck high up in the air and clears it down ice. Just 15 seconds left on this penalty kill effort for Rockford. They've cleared the puck probably 4 times here on this penalty kill. Palushai into the zone off the right wing side. Gets it back up towards the blue line. Golubeff not able to handle it cleanly there. It's back out to center. Palushai to Tynan. Power play has expired. We're back at 5-on-5 hockey. Mosey lost his stick while trying to make a poke check. Has to come to the bench for a change. Meanwhile, Hannikainen in the neutral zone is able to fling the puck down into the Ice Hog end. Matt Carruth sends the puck around the boards. Picked up by Caro. Dumped down to the ice was Gustafson a little bit away from the puck. Once again, that was Gallant who ran into the Ice Hog defenseman. Remember, those two traded a few shoves earlier this game as well as some verbal jabs at each other. Salaturo able to tap the puck free. Down the left wing side, it's Kukin. Works it forward for a wrister for Czar, and that puck up in the air off the netting and out of play. 17:30 still left here in the second period. The Rockford Ice Hogs have a 2-0 lead over the Cleveland Monsters.
You were being nice, off the puck get hit. That was a late hit.
I thought so too.
Yeah, okay.
I thought we could have seen an interference penalty against Gallant there. That's the type of player he is, though. He's one of those guys who can provide energy, and in a contest like this, when you're down by 2 on the road, he's going to do anything he can to try to get a player who might be an impact player for the other team to take themselves out of the game for 5 minutes or so by dropping the gloves. Langlois trying to battle along the wall, and that will lead to a penalty call. Holding coming up here against the Cleveland Monsters, and the Ice Hogs will go back onto the power play. 17 minutes, 23 seconds still left to go in period number 2 as Daniel Czar is forced to sit down for the next 2 minutes. And that's the other side of the coin when you start to try to draw the other team into penalties, is sometimes you get a little overzealous yourself, and this time it benefits Rockford. 2 minutes, 37 seconds Into period number 2 is the time of the call. A 5-on-4 for Rockford, their 4th of the game. 1 for the previous 3 as a puck is whistled around the glass and all the way back down to the Ice Hogs end to start this power play. Just 10 seconds expired as it is picked up by Ville Polka. He's able to work it down the right wing side. Langlois forward. Quick redirect by Mashinter and a nice pad save from Thiessen. Rebound fired off the wall and cleared down by Cleveland. Put a good chance there on a quick strike effort from Rockford on that transition. Now it's Polka, forward to Mashinter. Puck trickles back in on the netminder Thiessen. He takes no chances with this one as a few Ice Hogs were lurking and covers it up. 1:25 left on the power play, 16:48 to go in the second period, and the Ice Hogs have a 2-0 lead over Cleveland.
Now, do you know if they found Polka while they were checking out cable? I mean, seriously, I mean,
He,
you were in the same league or anything?
He actually came to the Rockford Ice Hogs via trade. In fact, started with the New York Islanders organization.
Okay.
And ended up here in the Blackhawks organization. Here's Spencer Abbott. Got the puck down to the corner. It's moved back up to Abbott from McNeil. High slot Gustafson. Now Abbott down the left side. Stick handles forward. Curls away from some pressure. Now goes rink wide right side. A one-time drive from Tanner Caro. Thiessen able to drop down and then shrug the shoulder up. Tanner Caro going high back across the momentum of the goaltender, and Thiessen with a real nice save there. 16:31 left in the second. 2-0 is the Rockford lead. 1:08 left to go on the Ice Hog power play.
It's cool when you see a one-timer where the guy can go down on one knee and finish that puck. That's a tough thing to do, by the way.
Tanner Caro, he's the type of player that can make that look easy. And he got a lot on that shot as well. Thiessen, a real nice job not to even give up a rebound. Gustafson, Abbott, wrister off his shin guard, skipped wide of the net. Back to Abbott, one-touch play, finds Luke Johnson. Johnson now Abbott, left half boards all the way across to Caro, up top Gustafson. Can't find a lane, instead to Abbott, left wing side, starts to walk in, holds the puck, snapshot, save made, and the rebound pushed just away from Mark McNeil, who was camped out in front of the cage. And then eventually Cleveland able to clear back down to the Rockford zone. Caruth out from his net to quickly send that puck forward into the attacking end. It's Johnson down the right side. Up top, McNeil at his stick checked. Abbott walks in, wrister, score! A pass intended for Mark McNeil. And it ends up on the tape of Spencer Abbott. And the Rockford Ice Hogs score another power play tally here. They increase their lead to 3-0. 15:57 left to go in the second period.
You know what's going to go unnoticed in that play is Caruth made a cross-ice pass to the red line, which got the puck into the zone. He might even get a second assist on that play. I mean, that's a very valuable thing if your goalie can move the puck like that.
Yeah, it looked like that pass, if I recall correctly, did go straight to Johnson. The question will be whether the feed that was intended initially, I believe, for Mark McNeil, if it skipped off his stick or not. If it did, McNeil will get an assist. If not, I think Caruth may get one. Lars Johansson, Rockford's other goaltender, already has an assist on the season as well. Here's Schilling with a one-time drive. That can be such a weapon for your team when you've got two goaltenders who are confident and willing to move the puck up ice, especially, you mentioned it earlier, Tim, with the second period, as a wraparound attempt comes here from Dowell. Svedberg back with a big drive. That one skipped off a stick blade and, in fact, broke the stick of Craig. He drops it down to the ice surface. Not allowed to attempt to play the puck while holding a broken stick, but the Monsters eventually do clear the zone. It looks like Tanner Caro picks up the second assist. So Johnson and Caro assisting on that goal. That was scored by Spencer Abbott.
Well, his teammates will give him a puck anyway.
Here's a collision on the boards, but the puck pops out to Gallant. And Caruth certainly deserves quite a bit of credit for setting that one up, as a puck trickled just wide after an initial stop was made by the Ice Hog goaltender, and pops up in the air, nearly rolled over the top of the net. Came out along the far side for PC Labrie to recover. Sends it into some open space. Mosey catches up with a wrist shot. Stop was made by Thiessen. PC Labrie battles it free. Curled up the wall, but a bouncing puck didn't have enough speed to make it to Polka. Instead, it comes around to Palushai. Broadhurst just stays on side as the puck is then sent into the right wing corner. Gathered back up by Carrick with 14:22 to go in the second. A 3-0 lead for the Rockford Ice Hogs. And it's knocked back down into the Cleveland zone. Icing here against Rockford. 14:18 the time on the clock in this 3-0 game. But going back to that earlier point, you mentioned it first. When you're on a penalty kill and you're in the second period, you've got to go that extra distance to make it to the bench. That sort of opens up a chance for your goaltender to do what Caruth did and play the puck up ice.
Yeah, good point. I know at the youth level, they say a second period is a 20-second longer shift because you just can't get off the ice. So I don't know what it is in the pros, but I'm sure it's longer.
Yeah, I would imagine that on average players do have to take slightly longer shifts in the middle frame. But it does give a chance for goaltenders to catch teams in a line change, as Garut certainly did on that last play. Here's a big slapper off the draw from Brookbank. That one caught PC Labrie and stung him. Here's the puck loose off to the right wing side. It's gathered by Hannikainen. And then pushed towards the front of the cage. Dahlstrom able to block it away. PC Labrie grinding through this shift, able to come back and fling the puck back into the neutral zone. PC Labrie, who wears some extra protection on his skates in order to block shots, actually has it dangling off his skate blade. That's how hard he got hit by that. Meanwhile, Evan Mosey whistled for a penalty call, which is why the clock stops. Hopefully Labrie is able to shake this one off. A big part of this Ice Hawk team. 13:52 left to go, period number 2. Rockford will be shorthanded when we come back. They lead 3-0 right here on your Rockford Ice Hawks broadcast network. Welcome back out here to your Rockford Ice Hogs broadcast network. The Ice Hogs shorthanded here. Evan Mosey in the penalty box. Time of the call comes in at 6:08, and it puts the Monsters onto the power play. See what they can do with their third power play chance. The Ice Hogs looking to clear it out of the zone. They're able to get it and swing it around the boards. Mosey's penalty call was for roughing, by the way, as the Monsters trail the Ice Hogs by 3. Rockford looking for another good penalty kill effort here. Puck comes around, Dowell reaching for the puck. Second effort able to clear it as Palushai had initially made a diving play. Dowell just stuck with it though and got it down ice. And a good job by McNeil to work his way into the attacking zone there as well. He was locked up for most of that run down ice with Golubev. Meanwhile, the puck comes around to the near side, and the Ice Hogs clear out of their zone once more. TJ Tynan works it away off the left wing wall. He led the American Hockey League in assists last season with 40, and has gotten out to a good start this year as well, already averaging 1 a game. Has a goal to go along with that.
He played at Notre Dame, by the way.
Has produced some very good hockey players, one of them being Vincent Estroza, who made a big impact with the Rockford Ice Hogs last season. Puck comes down towards the far side. Dahlstrom got tripped up there. A penalty call coming up against the Monsters. That will take care of the final 42 seconds of the Rockford penalty. We'll get some 4-on-4 action here at the BMO, after which Rockford will have a little bit over a minute of time to work on a power play of their own. Moutry, the guilty party, is off to the box here. Once again, that penalty is for tripping. Time on the penalty call comes in at 7:26 here in period number 2. As mentioned, 4-on-4 action for the next 42 seconds. Face-off will take place in the attacking zone for Rockford. Tanner Caro will step in for the draw. He's joined up front by Spencer Abbott. It's Polka and Dahlstrom who are back as the 2 defensemen as the 4-on-4 shift prepares to begin. Caro tossed out of the face-off dot. Abbott comes in to take his place. Puck is kicked backwards by Tynan. Got it to Golubev. He uses the far side boards up ice to Tynan. Hangs onto the puck, tried to spin it away, but Polka was able to intercept that opportunity. Puck pops up in the air. Tynan worked it free. Then it's knifed away by Spencer Abbott. Back down around towards the right wing side. In behind the net to Matt Caruth. Tossed up ice to Carroll. Could be a 3-on-2 chance for Rockford if they can hurry. Carroll up ice down the right side. Dished the pass over to Abbott. Golubev did a nice job to get a piece of it though, and it ended up in the corner. Now worked up to Dahlstrom. Left point, right side, Polka. Sends it down to the left circle for Abbott. Curls away, snapshot off the crossbar. That was a bullet from Spencer Abbott. Came off a chance to sort of drag the puck close to his body and change the angle a little bit. And he got all of that shot, just unfortunately rang it off the crossbar. Abbott hit a goalpost on Friday as well. He has managed to score a goal also this season for Rockford as the puck comes away to the near side. Now Scott had it briefly in the neutral zone. Ice Hogs onto the power play here, the tail end following the 4-on-4 action. And it's back down to the Rockford zone. Svedberg able to collect, and he gives it now to Gustafsson. Moved a pass up the right side to Langlois. Dished it to Carrick. He put it behind the net to Maschinter. Off the boards, right wing wall, Gustafsson. Puck was rolling on him though. He tried to make a quick play off the backhand to the forehand, and it just rolled right up his stick blade. And then Carrick blows a tire, coming back for a pass in the neutral zone. So that gives the Monsters a chance to send it down to the Ice Hog end. Rockford quickly right back down to the Monsters zone. Carrick in, puts on the brakes, lost his footing once more. Maschinter to Gustafsson. Now down in behind the net, Carrick. His pass deflected high up in the air, but it stays in play. Maschinter off the near side wing, up to Gustafsson, winds, he fires, and Thiessen down to the butterfly and makes the save. Carrick trying to get a deflection there, but was locked up with Golubev and wasn't able to get a stick blade on that shot. 10:32 left to go, second period, 3-0. Rockford leads. We are back to 5-on-5 hockey as well here at the BMO.
You know, Tyson did another nice job of controlling the rebound. There was no rebound and nothing you could do about it. He's looked pretty good in that respect.
Yeah, he has done a nice job, and of course, the shot by Spencer Abbott that hit the crossbar didn't look, from our angle at least, we couldn't see Thiessen, so with Abbott sort of standing right in our line of sight, I think it's reasonable to believe that Thiessen probably couldn't even see Abbott release that shot. And boy, did he get all of it, just unfortunately it was off the goalpost.
Well, the goalpost is the goalie's best friend, so take advantage of it.
It helped both teams last night. Rockford hit one, so did the Admirals. Loose puck to the top of the zone. Lundberg able to find it for Rockford. He gives the puck to Schilling. Dished it away to Lundberg again. Now down into the corner. Gathered up by Norrell. Gallant was coming after him. Rockford recovers. A penalty call is on the way here against the Monsters once more. Yavenko and Schilling trade some shoves. Baun is there. Dowell grabs Yavenko. Everybody being eventually forced away from each other. But a holding call is coming up as Golubev heads to the penalty box for Cleveland. We'll take a break. 9:47 to go. Period number 2. Rockford leads 3-0. Back with more after this right here on your Rockford Ice Hawks broadcast network. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills alongside Tim Mattilla with you here. The Ice Hogs up 3-0 over Cleveland and are heading to the power play. In the penalty box is Cody Golubev. He went for holding, and the power play underway now for Rockford. Puck away to the right wing side. Carroll holds it there. Goes rink wide to Abbott. Power play has looked good the last few games for Rockford. Gustafson tries a one-timer. That got blocked as soon as it left his stick blade. Chance to clear, but it's held by Caro off the right side. He drags the puck down to the corner. Then it's up to Gustafson. Right point fake shot. Abbott wanted a one-timer. Didn't have a lane. Goes back to Gustafson. One-time drive. Tipped in front. Save made. Puck is still loose. Knocked aside by the Monsters. Not out of the zone as Gustafson controls. Able to whip a pass over to Tanner Caro. Ran out of real estate, but got it to Johnson. Back to the blue line. It's Gustafson. Now Abbott walks in left side. Snapshot blocked away. Trickles towards the right wing wall, which is eventually where it was gathered up by Yavenko. He pushed it up ice down the left side. Chance to race in toward the cage, and Carruth down in the butterfly makes the save. That was Scott who had a clear path to the front of the net right there. Justin Scott put it right into the chest protector of Carruth, who played it nicely. He covers up. 1:11 left on the power play. 8:58 to go in period number 2. Hawks lead 3-0.
You know, when they were shorthanded last time, though, they had a 2-on-1 and they tried to make a pass. At least you get a shot off when you're shorthanded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you force
absolutely.
the face off, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're right. And then if you win this draw here, if you're Cleveland, you're talking about maybe that one decision to shoot instead of getting a pass deflected. That could help you take an extra 20 seconds or so off the clock. Here's Brookbank off the draw, and he fires it in on goal. Matt Carruth wanted to get it back in play and try to give the Hogs a chance to race up ice, but he couldn't get it out of his glove in time, and so the whistle sounds. 1:05 to go on the Rockford power play. 8:52 left here in the second period.
You know, Brookbank sounds familiar. He played in Rockford too, didn't he?
It was actually his brother, Wade Brookbank.
Okay.
This is Sheldon Brookbank, who is here with the Monsters. But certainly the Brookbank family has plenty of ties here with the Ice Hogs. Rockford comes into the attacking zone, offside. 53 seconds still left on the power play. Monsters have done a nice job on this penalty kill of really disrupting what Rockford's trying to do, especially right there on that zone entry. Lead to a neutral zone face-off. Jake Dowell will step in here. Lines up opposite of Jordan Maletta. Lundberg and Brookbank both creeping in a little bit from the near side of the dot. Now the puck drops. Rockford wins it. Dowell to Svedberg, then back to Dowell. Worked around, dumped in on the right side. It looked like that puck was going to carry around the boards, but took a weird bounce off the glass and instead allowed the Monsters to shoot it down to the Rockford zone. Half a minute left on the power play here for the Ice Hogs. It's Lundberg in along the left wing side. Sent it toward the front of the net. That trickles in on goal, and players get into it right afterwards. Bond tangled up here. Gloves have come off, but the players immediately tangled up with the net. Didn't see who that was for Cleveland that Bond got tangled up with right as that whistle sounded. Looks like Jamie Cyphers is the Monsters defenseman. Everybody back up on their skates. No real indication that penalties are coming up here, though. And it looks like that will indeed be the case. So no calls coming. 23 seconds left on this current Rockford power play. 8:10 to go in the second. 3-0, the Ice Hogs lead. I know you're a fan of, at times, situational refereeing. You agree with a no call on that one?
Yes, I like that.
Two players just going at it a little bit. No punches were thrown.
If it was Gallant and somebody else, they probably would have made the call, but those guys haven't been those kind of agitators. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
Certainly would imagine that would factor into a decision by a referee. Always have that responsibility of keeping the game under control, so to speak, not letting it get out of hand. And you've probably noticed in your time that players sometimes do get a longer leash based on their reputation, or a shorter one as well.
No question about it.
Here's a snapshot from Schilling. That was knocked aside. P.C. Labrie knocked down a clearing attempt. It just rolled away from him as he gloved it out of midair. Here comes Czar back the other direction. He curls to the blue line. Tried to make a pass across, got knocked down, but eventually does find its way to Siebenthaler. He put it up towards the front of the net. It was blocked away by Schilling. Then in behind the net, Golubeff. Trying to get it aside. Ice Hogs control instead. Backhand pass blocked away. Right back to Dahlstrom. Rockford offside as they enter the attacking zone. 7:16 still left here in the second period. Rockford leads 3-0. And speaking of players who sometimes got a short leash, Ryan Hartman might be the prime example of that here in Rockford. it seemed like he was one of those players that the spotlight was always on him. Any sort of infraction, he was finding his way in the penalty box for.
Sometimes the expectation's there, and he's not maybe even doing it, but you've already expected it, and you've already went over in your scouting report. You got to watch this guy.
Sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle too. Obviously, referees, they're humans. They have their own biases at times. I think they've done a nice job so far here today. I thought the refereing yesterday was done well, as the Ice Hogs were shorthanded twice in overtime, but especially the second one of those calls I think was sort of a no-doubter. Although in overtime, maybe you'd like to see Rockford avoid it. Meanwhile, here's Mashinter able to toss a pass over to Johnson down the right wing side, and a snapshot is off the blocker of Thiessen. Moved away towards Mashinter. Kept it deep for Langlois. Down to Johnson. Sharp angle shot, and he got the rebound to pop right up through the slot. Mashinter had two different monsters right on him and couldn't find a way to gather that puck on the backhand as it was rolling away from him. And with it, Cleveland clears. Smart play, though, by Luke Johnson. Didn't have a direct pass anywhere and just threw it on goal from his sharp angle. You never know what can happen. Here comes Gustafson. Pass to Carroll off the right side, able to clear for Rockford. Scott knocked it free. And then chases back into his own zone to control for Cleveland. Turned over to Carroll, then to Abbott. One touch play to Gustafson, and then a pass right on the tape of Mark McNeil. He fires into the attacking zone. It's around to the right wing side. Golubev trying to clear, but it was broken up by McNeil in the left corner. Now Abbott to Dahlstrom, who was stepping in from the point, but the pass missed him. Great job by Abbott. He was able to strip that one away before Bjorkstrand could start up ice. That would have been a 2-on-1 from at least the center red line had Abbott not made that nice play to prevent the opportunity. Here's a puck around towards the near side corner. Abbott bumps with Tynan, got the puck aside, wanted Mark McNeil, and it was bouncing a bit, just hopped over his stick blade. McNeil sends it back down to the corner, first one to it. However, able to clear the puck for the Monsters is Blake Siebenaller. Got it to Bjorkstrand, then it's Tynan in left side. Stick handles, holds to the side of the net, now back in behind the cage, a centering feed. Wanted Bjorkstrand, and it missed him. Instead, McNeil gets to lead the charge the other way. Had to make one last little stick handle right at the blue line, and that forced the Rockford Ice Hogs to go offside. 5:07 left here in period number 2. Rockford has a 3-0 lead. We'll be back with more after this right here on your Rockford Ice Hogs Broadcast Network. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills alongside Tim Mattilla with you here as the Rockford Ice Hogs have built up a 3-0 lead over Cleveland. 2 of those goals in the first for Rockford, the third coming in the second. Rockford has scored twice on the power play in this game. As the puck comes around to Cyphers, able to whip it off the wall and back down to the Ice Hog defensive zone. Moved free out of the corner. A bouncing puck to the blue line is knocked down by Schilling. Both Baun and Abbott scoring on the man advantage. Here comes Lundberg, who has the even strength goal. Gives it to Svedberg left side. Tried to throw it back out in front. May have wanted to look for the backdoor pass to Lundberg. It was broken up by Cleveland, as Tynan starts a 3-on-1 the other way. Fake shot, drop down, sends it across, and he had an open man in Cyphers. That puck looked like it just missed him, and instead as it's being cleared out to center, nobody home. Off the near side point for the Monsters. And then Yavenko able to collect it and move it up towards Maleta. Into the zone down the left wing side. It is stick checked by P.C. Labrie. Good to see that he's all right after blocking a hard slap shot right off his foot. Maybe those protectors over the boot of the skate have allowed him to stay in this game. Puck comes away towards the right side, and a chance to get it deep got deflected off the stick of Brookbank as he was firing it down. At last hit one of the Ice Hogs up by the line, and therefore face-off will stay in the Rockford zone. 4:01 left in the second period. It's a 3-0 lead for Rockford.
You know, you'd feel more comfortable if we could get one more. You know what I'm saying? It's like right now you're feeling like nothing's happening.
So Rockford will try to control this defensive zone draw, but it's Mileta who gets it back to Brookbank. He fired a quick pass across, but not able to put that one on the tape of Oleg Yavenko, and it clears the zone for Rockford. Czar comes right back in on the right wing side. Ends up in behind the net, Gustafson, along with Mutri. Looking for a loose puck here, up to the blue line. Brookbank shoots. A couple of deflections in front. It's off the end boards and then is gathered up by Matt Caruth. 3:38 left in the second period. Still a 3-0 Rockford lead, and I think to continue your point there, Tim, especially when you look back at yesterday's game, Rockford got that 2-0 lead, and you didn't feel comfortable, I don't think, by any stretch of the imagination, but you thought, all right, we're in good shape here.
Yeah.
And in a minute, it was completely gone. So that's how fast things can change.
That's a good point.
I think you're right. Another goal would probably let you breathe a little bit easier. Luke Johnson will step in for the face-off on the far side. A snapshot off the shoulder of Caruth, who made a nice save there for Rockford. Clearing opportunity, broken up by Golubev, but then forced out of the zone by Langlois. Just got it over the blue line before Gallant took it back. Mashinter working against him, eventually takes control. It's around to Robin Norrell. He's able to pop the puck back out to center. Siebenaller took it away for Cleveland. Now Mashinter scoops the puck backwards, and it's grabbed onto there by Gustafson. Got it back out to center. The Monsters coming into the zone are offside on the play, and so we hear the sound of the whistle. 3:01 left in the second. 3-0. The Rockford Ice Hogs have the lead right here over Cleveland.
Yeah, for the most part, I'd have to say Coach Dent should be pleased with the back checking. You know, allowing some of your defensemen to maybe be a little more aggressive because your forwards are coming back.
Spencer Abbott jumps out in my mind as doing that twice. Once on a power play when he was the last man back, and then he prevented what looked like could have been a clear-cut 2-on-1 through the neutral zone as well when he was able to poke a puck free. So that's one of those things, too, that has to be, the whole team's got to buy into it. If there's one or two guys that have decided they aren't going to race back hard, it doesn't allow your defense to activate. Hannikainen turns and shoots. A kick save is made by Caruth. Puck is up towards the blue line. Now off a body on a clearing attempt, it bounced free right to Kukin. He whistled one over the bar. Ends up off the right side. Hannikainen right back out in front of the wrister from Scott is turned wide by Caruth. Back up to the blue line. Gathered up Kukin. Wrist shot. They score. Lots of traffic out in front of Matt Caruth on that opportunity. Palushai was in the vicinity. 2:24 to go, period 2, and the Monsters have gotten on the scoreboard here. They cut it down to just a 3-1 lead here for Rockford.
And exactly what we were talking about. You could just feel it happening. Caruth has to make, 3 or 4 top saves and then another shot on that. And at some point, it's a percentage game if the puck's in your zone that long.
Monsters get a good wrister from the blue line. 17:36 is the time of the tally. Hopefully the Ice Hogs can absorb this one a little bit better than what we saw after goal number 1 in yesterday's game. Although I think contributing to that one was the fact that the goal had to go to review. I think a lot of the Ice Hogs players thought it maybe was going to get called back. Sort of hard to refocus when you get into that sort of a situation, and credit what Milwaukee did to come right back down and score. Rockford will try to keep the momentum going their way right now in the final 2 minutes of the second frame. And Palushai does indeed get credit for that goal. Kukin and Scott with assists for the Monsters. Puck is played to the Ice Hog line. Gustafson back to Svedberg. Then Gustafson once again. Moved up to Carrick. He redirects through center. It rolls back down. Into the Rockford Ice Hog attacking zone, but pushed out by Cleveland over the blue line. Quick bit of stick handling into the zone, turning and shooting. Good opportunity for Dante Salaturo, but his shot got blocked in front. It goes high up in the air and ends up on a play. 1:18 left to go, second period. Rockford up 3-1 over Cleveland. 27 shots for the Ice Hogs, 15 officially being scored here for the Monsters.
That goal seems to have taken some of the jump out of the crowd. You know, you feel the difference in the stands?
A little bit, yeah. Some of that energy sucked out a bit. That can turn in a heartbeat. Here's Gustafson off the boards, right wing side. Puck deflects and a hand pass, I believe. Oh, pardon me. Puck played down by a high stick is the ruling. 1:12 still left here in the second. Rockford up 3-1 over the Monsters. The Ice Hogs, I'm sure, will be looking to hold on to this 2-goal lead going into the second period. Always much more comfortable knowing you have that insurance goal going into the third. Gustafson gets the puck off the draw. It's moved around. Siebenthaler able to hold it. Popped it in on goal. Caruth had to drop down and make a save. Kick the puck aside. Now Carrick able to toss his puck back down to the offensive zone. Moved around, off to the left wing wall. Norrell trying to keep it deep. It's off his skate. A 3-on-2 chance the other way for Cleveland. Off the left wing side. Fake shots are right back out in front. Tap forward. They score. And there's the quick goals again that the Ice Hogs surrender. And that was a broken play. It started off as a 3-on-2 chance. And then joining that opportunity for the Cleveland Monsters was Goluboff. And he was able to handle a pass, had all day to walk in toward the front of the cage, and then just left it right back out in front for a tap-in goal. And just like that, the Monsters have cut it from 3-0 to 3-2. Span of just a couple of minutes. 47.1 seconds is left here in the second period. 19:12 the time of the goal. About a minute and 40 seconds after the last strike for the Monsters. Puck is along the far side wall. Put back into the Rockford zone once again. Langlois off the boards, gets the puck back out to center. Scott trying to spin it in, bounce it off the body of Gallant. Then it's around to Hannikainen, winds and fires, missed it wide of the far goalpost. Back up to the blue line now, Coogan with a wrister, trickled in on goal, and Caruth was there to knock it wide. Brandon Mashinter trying to clear. It was off the shin guard of Gallant. And Langlois is able to push it forward. Bouncing puck into the Rockford zone, and as it was flipped up in the air, we come to the end of period number 2. Rockford was fairly comfortable in this one, up by a 3-0 score for a good chunk of time. But then all of a sudden the Cleveland Monsters able to get one, and shortly thereafter came right back down and got a second one. Almost a replay of what we saw in yesterday's contest against Milwaukee. The good news, if you're drawing comparisons though, is that after the Ice Hogs gave up those 2 quick goals to the Admirals, they were able to keep the team off the board for the rest of the game. And unless Rockford manages to put another puck in the net, they'll be tasked with the same thing here against Cleveland. Certainly would be a tough pill to swallow to see a 3-goal lead evaporate, especially as quickly as we saw those 2 goals go into the back of the net there in the second period, Tim.
Yeah, it's going to be a tale of 2 locker rooms right now, because Cleveland right now, they're all going, yeah, man, here we go. We're set to go. They're going to have high energy. So Coach Dent's going to have to remind these guys, hey, by the way, we're up by a goal. You know, let's don't be hanging our heads right now. Obviously, there's some things that got to be shored up, but you're winning this hockey game, and you've done some things to get to that point.
Kind of a situation where you almost want to not look too much at how you got to this situation here. I think if you had told the Rockford Ice Hogs going into the game, hey, this is an opponent that's given you fits over the past 7 or 8 times that you've played them, but you'll have a 3-2 lead going into the third, I think a lot of people on the Ice Hogs would have said, all right, we'll be in good shape at that point, but just because of the way it happened, it almost feels like a little bit of a letdown right now.
Right, and that's why I'm saying you have to remind people what, I mean, you've seen enough hockey. I mean, you've seen this happen all the time. It's mind-boggling. It's like a replay. Doesn't matter who the teams are. Isn't it crazy?
It is weird. You just do see that happen when a team looks like they're just in the driver's seat, and all of a sudden the other club manages to get a goal, and in this case we see that follow-up goal come shortly thereafter, again in a game that looks like you've got pretty good control of it, and all of a sudden now you're in a position again with Rockford where one mistake draws it back to a tie hockey game.
Yeah, and another issue, if you're down by 2 goals and it's late in the period, that's why you're sending 4 guys to the net. If it's a tie or a 1-goal game, maybe you're probably not going to see all 4 Cleveland guys going to the net. It's just a different way of how you play the game. The score matters too on how you play.
Yeah, and in that sort of a situation, you're already down by 2 goals, 3 goals, what have you. If you're the Cleveland Monsters, you don't really have much to lose at that point if you don't start generating some offense. So, and this time it pays off, but we've talked about it before as well. The more aggressive you are, the more it does open you up for a counterattack. Do you expect that Cleveland in the third period will come out and say, you know what, we're back into a 1-goal game, and sort of bring it back a little bit and sort of look for their chance? Or do you expect them to sort of continue this aggressive style and say, hey, they worked for us for 2 goals, let's try to even things up?
No, I think they'll be aggressive. It's been working for them. I don't know really what else to say except for I think they'll be aggressive. It looks like that's the kind of team. We talked about it off air, that they seem like they're the kind of team with an edge. Well, it's hard to tell teams with an edge to back off.
Yeah.
Do you follow me? So
absolutely, yeah. And maybe it'll give the Ice Hogs a chance to maybe hit a couple counterattacks there and get some odd man rushes of their own. All that remains to be seen. For now, we'll take a break right here in Rockford. It's a 3-2 advantage for the Rockford Ice Hogs over the Cleveland Monsters after 40 minutes of action. We'll send you through to the Ice Hogs second intermission report. Of course, we'll check back in here, take you through that second period, look around the American Hockey League. All that coming up just after this right here on your Rockford Ice Hogs Broadcast Network. I'm Rockford Ice Hogs broadcaster Bob Mills as we take a look here at your Holsebus Chiropractic adjustment of the game. And for the Rockford Ice Hogs, the adjustment going into period number 3 will be to stay out of the penalty box. They've done a pretty good job of that so far tonight, but they've seen their lead jump down to just a single goal. The Cleveland Monsters certainly are a team that plays with an edge. The Ice Hogs have to make sure they don't get goaded into any penalties and give the Monsters more opportunities to try to knot this game up. Holsebus Chiropractic is the team chiropractor for your Rockford Ice Hogs. That's the Holsebus Chiropractic adjustment of the game. Down the right side, up Up top, McNeil at his stick checked. Abbott walks in. Wrister score! A pass and up top, McNeil at his stick checked. Abbott walks. Johnson down the right side. And it's Johnson. It's Johnson down. It's Johnson down the. D7 left to go in the. Now your defense to activate. Hannakainen turns and Wrister from Scott is turned wide by Caruth. Back up to the blue line. Gathered up Cook lead here for Rockford. On the scoreboard here, Palushai was lots of traffic out in. Back up to the blue line. Back up. Wrist shot, they score. Back out in front of Matt Caruth on that opportunity. Bit deep, it's off his skate, a 3-on-2 chance the other way for Cleveland. Off the left wing side, fake shots are right back out in front, tap forward, they score. And off to the left wing wall, Norrell trying to keep it deep, it's off his skate, a 3-on-2 chance the other way for Cleveland. Off the left wing side, fake shots are right back out in front, tap forward, they score. And there's quick goals again at the Ice Hogs surrender. And that was welcome back out here to your Rockford Ice Hogs broadcast network. I'm Bob Mills alongside Luke Johnson, one of the newcomers to this Rockford Ice Hogs lineup. And Luke, you got an opportunity to make your professional debut last weekend out in Cleveland against the Monsters. A pretty strong team there, but I thought you had a nice showing for yourself. How'd you feel out there getting an opportunity to jump out on the ice for the first time as a pro?
I felt pretty good. Obviously, coming to pro, I knew that it's going to be a faster game, and playing with a lot more speed and playing with guys that are a lot stronger than you. So for the most part, I felt pretty good, but I'm still trying to improve on some things and trying to get better every day. So
I know you had an opportunity as well to go through quite a bit of preparation in terms of the start of the season, whether it was going out to rookie tournaments, playing in training camp, preseason games, all that sort of type of experiences gearing up for the start of the regular season. What are some of the things that you maybe encountered during the offseason that you feel early on were most helpful to your development?
I think this summer I really tried to focus on getting faster and quicker, trying to lose a bit of weight. I actually lost probably 10 pounds this summer, so that was a big help for me. And like you said, playing the rookie tournament and in the training camp in Chicago, it's nice to get into some games and get a feel for it, feel for the pro style of games. So that was nice and definitely helped me at the start of the season. So
I know you come from a program as well that does a great job of preparing guys for the professional level out there at North Dakota. In that sort of a situation as well, where you're playing at a really, really high level, of course, winning a national championship. And welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills with you here as you heard a little bit of a clip from Luke Johnson, those of you who are tuned in on 1330, as well as those of you who were catching this contest on the Justice Network 23.3. Happy to have you back here, though, at the BMO Harris Bank Center as the Rockford Ice Hogs have a 3-2 lead currently here after 2 periods of play over the Cleveland Monsters. The Rockford Ice Hogs trying to get rid of a couple of demons perhaps here today. They've fallen to Cleveland each of the last 7 times the 2 teams have met. That goes back to the tail end of last regular season and includes, of course, 3 playoff games in this 2016 Calder Cup playoffs. But the Ice Hogs looking for a big home victory here against the Monsters. We'll see if they can pull it off. They have a 1-goal lead as we work our way toward period number 3. We'll take a look right now at some scores going on from around the rest of the American Hockey League. Plenty of action on a Sunday afternoon around the league. Games that have already come to their conclusion include the Toronto Marlies at home as they were hosting the Manitoba Moose, a 4-0 victory for Toronto in that contest. Final score, it needed overtime. The Albany Devils get a 4-3 win over the Providence Bruins in that contest. Chicago able to take the win 2-1 over San Antonio. 2 sides were tied at 1 going into the 3rd period. Chicago scored about midway through the frame to take the win. Chicago got their first of the season against San Antonio yesterday and follows it up with a win in this one here today. St. John's 4-1 leaders over Hartford out on the road. Still plenty of action there as we're only 43 seconds into the 3rd period in that contest. End of the 2nd frame, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins are on the road visiting the Hershey Bears, and it is the Bears who have a 1-0 lead. Hershey was the team that went into action against these Cleveland Monsters in the Calder Cup playoffs for the championship last season. And Hershey getting off to a 1-2-0-0 start. The Monsters are 2-1 on the season. Rockford trying to force that into a 2-2 record. The Ice Hogs also, if they could find a way to get a victory today, would be able to jump up over 500 for the first time this season. Looking at things a little bit more closely here in Rockford as we take a more in-depth look at this contest, your Illinois Lottery 2nd period scoring recap, and there was plenty of action to look through as we went through period number 1, or I should say period number 2, after Rockford was able to take a 2-0 lead into the 2nd period. They followed it up with a goal from Spencer Abbott. His goal was the 2nd of the night on the power play for the Rockford Ice Hogs. Abbott able to find the back of the net as he put the puck home and jumped that lead for Rockford all the way up to a 3-0 score. Up top, McNeil at his stick checked. Abbott walks in. Wrister score! A pass intended for Mark McNeil. And it ends up on the tape of Spencer Abbott. And the Rockford Ice Hogs score another power play tally here. They increase their lead to 3-0. 15:57 left to go in the 2nd period. That one put Rockford really in the driver's seat in this contest as the puck ends up in the back of the cage. A beautiful shot from Spencer Abbott after a cross-ice feed. Looked like may have been intended for Mark McNeil, but he was being checked as he went to the front of the net, had his stick tied up. Couldn't get a piece of it, but it ended up being a perfect pass to Spencer Abbott and jumped the Rockford Ice Hogs up to a 3-0 lead. That held for quite some time here in period number 2 until with just 2 minutes and 23 seconds left in the frame, Aaron Palushai able to deflect a shot that came from the blue line, originally off the stick of Dean Kukin, and it put the puck into the back of the cage and it got the Monsters on the board. Back up to the blue line, gathered up Kukin, race shot, they score. Lots of traffic out in front of Matt Caruth on that opportunity. So that goal was a deflection from Palushai as a shot was fired from the blue line, and that came after the Monsters had a few good chances at the front of the net as well. Rockford just couldn't quite find a way to clear the puck out of the zone. And then, similar to what we saw in yesterday's game, the first of the 2 quick Monsters goals comes with 17:37 expired out of period number 2. The next one not quite 2 minutes after that, as at 19:12 it was Daniel Czar. It was an odd man rush that led the puck into the zone, and eventually a couple of players wide open in front of the net. Czar finishing off the play after Goluboff was able to send it right into the front of the net, just a tap-in goal for Czar. Off to the left wing wall, Norrell trying to keep it deep. It's off his skate, a 3-on-2 chance the other way for Cleveland. Off the left wing side, fake shot Czar, right back out in front, tap forward, they score, and there's the quick goals again at the Ice Hogs surrender. Cody Goluboff got the feed down the right wing wall, and he had all day to walk to the front of the net. There was nobody there for Rockford. Caruth had to commit to the shooter And Golubev saw the fact that he had Czar helping out from the high slot. Czar read the play nicely. Golubev held the puck, froze the goaltender, and then just tossed the puck right to the top of the goal mouth. And Czar, with nobody on him and basically no goaltender in the cage, was able to knock that one home. That is your Illinois Lottery second period scoring recap, as the Ice Hogs still have a 3-2 advantage. Scoring summary brought to you by the more powerful than ever Powerball from the Illinois Lottery. With more millionaires, bigger jackpots, and better odds. Play responsibly. You must be 18 or older to play. Those of you watching on WIFR, we'll take a quick step away for now. We'll be back for Puck Drop here in period number 2 on your Rockford Ice Hogs broadcast network. And for those of you who are tuned in on Sportsfan 1330, we'll keep it right here. The Ice Hogs looking to maintain their advantage here over the Cleveland Monsters, as it is a 3-2 lead for Rockford after a couple of periods of play. Rockford jumped out to that important 3-0 lead as mentioned, and we'll see if they can hang on to that. Take a chance here to look forward towards some upcoming games for the Rockford Ice Hogs as well. A 3-3 weekend this weekend for Rockford that started in Grand Rapids, was continued with a win over Milwaukee last night for the home opener of the Rockford Ice Hogs, and then was followed up with this contest here today. Hopefully a win again for Rockford as they lead going into the third, but the Ice Hogs will be right back at it for a 3-3 next weekend as well. First of those games is here at home, a Friday night matchup against the Chicago Wolves, and a pretty fun tradition that's been going on in Rockford for the past few presidential elections. We will have bobbleheads of both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, the first 2,500 fans to the game. We'll have a chance to choose between the two of those, at least until one of the two has run out. The remainings will be available for the fans that come in after that fact. And we'll declare the winner to be the first of those that run out at the contest. So come out and enjoy that. Those are courtesy of Dental Dimensions. That's also the first Blues Flame Friday of the season. So come on out and enjoy that contest. Fans 21 and older invited to enjoy live blues music, happy hour special, as well as free appetizers at the Blue Flame Lounge. All that going on out here in Rockford. And then on Sunday, the 30th of October, we'll have magnet schedule giveaways, courtesy of Rise Broadband. That is going on as well over here at the BMO for that contest coming up next Sunday, the 30th of October, as the Milwaukee Admirals come back to town. So plenty of fun hockey on the way as we get things going here. The season still quite young out here in Rockford. 3-2 the Ice Hogs lead. We'll take a second here as the little bit too much standing water on top of the ice for the officiating crew is elected to delay a little bit before dropping the puck. Rockford up by a 3-2 score. They will be skating left to right during this final frame. Players collecting their thoughts here before the face-off. And Tim, we look at this third period. Rockford had a 3-0 lead. They're still up 3-2. What's the approach for the Ice Hogs when this third period begins?
I think they need to be more physical and be a little more aggressive. If you're sitting back, it's not been working. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be more physical, and I would have a two-man forecheck and see if you could finish some checks and maybe create some turnovers in that respect.
We'll see if the Ice Hogs can find a way to get that done. The Monsters, I think, have probably been the more physical team during the majority of this game, although the Ice Hogs certainly have their fair share of heavy hitters as well, and can certainly provide that physical style. I was talking a lot about it being a largely defensive game, at least in terms of my expectations for what we would see so far here tonight. Tim, what are your thoughts on that front? Have you seen it as more of a defensively focused game, or do you think this is a contest where we've seen the two teams sort of try to open it up offensively?
Well, it's kind of a tale of two periods. You know what I'm saying? I thought we looked outstanding on our power play in the first period.
Yeah.
And moved the puck real well. And then I think we just got a little complacent in the second period, late. It's easy to say that when you give up 2 goals, right? But you could tell Cleveland, like we talked about, they jumped 4 guys to get that second goal. You don't do that if it's a tie game. Typically.
Yeah, exactly. Is it a situation at all where maybe that's something that can be born from a little bit of inexperience? You look at the games the Ice Hogs have played so far this season. All of them have essentially been one-goal games for good chunks of the time. That was the first time this year Rockford had ever been up by 3, maybe the type of situation where you're just not used to having that kind of a cushion?
That's actually, that might be a good point. I mean, they're so used to playing tight games, and then you play that way accordingly. Three-goal lead. Now, you know what? I can take a stupid penalty like somebody did, right? There was really no point in taking one of those penalties. But we have a 3-goal lead, so what's the point? And that catches up to you.
It caught up to the Rockford Ice Hogs in this one in a hurry as their 3-0 lead quickly evaporated into a 3-2 lead, but still good position for the Rockford Ice Hogs. We'll see if they can manage to hang on to that here against a tough opponent in the Cleveland Monsters. We are back underway here in this one as about 45 seconds of time has expired. Teams have been sort of playing catch through the neutral zone for the first minute of this period. Svedberg fanned on a pass. Here comes a 2-on-1. Scott into the zone across to Broadhurst. Backhand shot stop. Caruth rebound loose. May have bent off the goalpost and the net comes off its moorings just after that. That puck popped up in the air and it looked to me like if it had gone over the line, it would have done so before the net was off. I don't know what your perspective was.
No, I agree. And how did the net come off? Did Caruth kick it? Or did Svedberg push it? Obviously, there's no penalty, so coincidentals.
The Ice Hogs will be happy to take that one, but what a scramble right off the bat, and it all started as the puck sort of wobbled its way out into the neutral zone. Svedberg tried to dump it in. I don't think he realized that it had bounced over his stick. It looked like he thought he had it on his tape, and he went to fire that puck into the zone, and it was about 6 inches behind him, and it led to a 2-on-1 chance for the Monsters. Even strength action, though, continues here at the BMO. Here's a snapshot from Kukin. Ramped off his stick plate up over the bar. Comes across to Cyphers. One-touch play to Kukin. Right back to Cyphers. But is taken away by Tanner Caro deep in his own end. Caro a chance now to survey the ice as Cleveland forced to back off with the Ice Hogs with clear possession of the puck. Svedberg got it out to center. Tap free by Abbott. Back to Cyphers, who took it away for Cleveland. Knocked down through the neutral zone to Abbott. Tried to make a quick move. It just got poked away. Rolls all the way across to Carroll. Settled it down. Gustafson shoots. Missed it just wide. Now it's McNeil behind the cage. Spencer Abbott works back up towards the right side wall to the blue line for Gustafson. Down towards the corner boards. And then Kukin is there to take it away. He works it right back up ice. Left side for Czar. Snapshot down to the butterfly is the goaltender Caruth. Gave up a bit of a rebound there. It forced the Ice Hogs to control and clear. And instead of the goaltender covering and Rockford the ability to make a line change, it'll be an icing call instead, and maybe some tired legs out there now for Rockford.
Almost looked like a nervous save. You know, he initially had that puck, and then boom, just fell right out of his hands, right to the front of the net.
And sort of the same could be said for the clearing attempt there by Rockford. There were 3 white jerseys. I don't think any of the black jerseys for the Cleveland Monsters were really too much in the vicinity. Could have still been time to just control that puck, but when it's right out in front of your goaltender like that, you're not going to take any chances. Here's Bjorkstrand off the right wing side. His shot got blocked, came back to him. He works it to the blue line, and that's where Brookbank is able to keep it deep into the zone. Around toward the left wing side, poked at by Gustafson. Then up to the top of the circle, Moutry had his stick checked, didn't get much on that shot to Brookbank. Big drive, and he missed it wide of the left goalpost. That one banks out of the corner and all the way back down into the Cleveland zone. That's a good break for Rockford, who was in need of a change of lines. It's tipped into the Ice Hog zone. Polka around the wall. Left boards, Mosey got it to the neutral zone. Golubev sent it around to the right wing side. Now handled as it's stick handling that puck deep in down low. Comes off Salaturo. Now back to the blue line and a drive that time misses wide. Siebenaller had the opportunity. Mosey gets it back out to center for Carrick. Over the blue line, walks in with a wrister. Missed it just wide of the net, banked off the glass. Rolls free to the line. Billy Polka made the smart play that time. Couldn't try to step up and hold a puck that was bouncing end over end, high up into the air, and instead took it to the neutral zone before dumping it back in. The Monsters come right back out, though, and send it down to the Ice Hog zone. It's moved around to Dahlstrom. 16:40 still left here in the third. Rockford leads 3-2. Siebenaller has the puck in the defensive end. Got it back towards Gallant. Up along the right wing side, Cyphers chop the puck forward. Here's Schilling. Collides with Moletta. Puck comes around to Maschinter. Out to center now, it's Kukin. He pushes it back over to Cyphers. Over towards the far side, a pass gets deflected free. Chased down by Schilling in his own zone. Gave it to Victor Svedberg, used the end wall to control. Up ice now, Maschinter with a quick redirect into the zone, gathered right back up by Kukin and out to center once more. Schilling knocked it free. Langlois gets away from Hannakainen, and the puck is dumped into the offensive end. Maschinter on the forecheck ties up with Cyphers. 15:45 left in the final frame. Rockford leads 3-2. Luke Johnson had to get rid of that puck in a hurry and put it right between the two Rockford defenders at the blue line, sending it all the way back down into his own zone. Kyle Baun up ice, too far for Lundberg. Banks off the wall. It's forced to be played by Thiessen. No icing coming here against the Hawks. Flip back out to center. Gustafsson able to gain control. Now it's around to Norrell. He snapped it up ice. No icing coming on the play. Down to the right wing side for Czar. He loops around behind the net, uses the boards on the far side. Lundberg able to kick the puck away. Reaching for it was Dowell. Couldn't get a stick on it in time. Comes across instead towards Czar. And he dumps it into the Rockford zone. Getting bumped, the puck is freed up to Dowell. Yavenko finished his check on Dahlstrom, who gave the big Cleveland defender a bit of a whack as those two parted ways. Now it's at the line. Left side, Siebenthaler walks it out in front for a snapshot. That's off a shin guard. And that one then cleared by Rockford. Goluboff able to control. Sends it down the right side wall. Knocked into the zone to Scott. He got shoved by Labrie. Up towards the right side blue line. Handled then to the left side. Big drive from Siebenthaler. Had it labeled to the top right corner and just missed it wide. Now it's knocked away by Mosey. Up through center. Gathered by Carrick. And he flings it down into the right side corner. Chasing is Labrie. Goluboff shoots it around. Off to the left side. Turnaround chance. Mosey never got all the way through. Comes back to him. Put it just wide of the net. As Carrick was there to snap that one toward the cage. But he did miss it wide of the left goalpost. It's Schilling. Walks back around behind his own net. Out of the Rockford zone. Carrick on the backhand to Mosey. Had to try to control that one that was just slightly behind him. Couldn't keep it under control and ends up rolling into the Cleveland zone. Rockford 3-2. They lead over the Monsters. Back down in behind the net. Cyphers. Rockford finishing a change. Good play by Johnson in the neutral zone. He steals the puck. Open ice for Maschinter. He is forced to regroup a little bit as the Ice Hogs were racing toward the attacking zone. Maschinter probably would have been offside if he had tried to rush that one in. Now Maschinter with it again. This time dumps it forward. Langlois into the zone right side. Centering feed. He wanted Johnson, and it was just deflected away. Now Gustafsson gets it in on goal. Thiessen forced to make the stop. Johnson controls to Norrell. Now right side. Gustafsson shoots. He scores! Maschinter, what a deflection in front. And the Ice Hogs go back up by 2. It's a 4-2 score. 13:07 to go here in the third. What a drive by Eric Gustafsson, and Maschinter in front. There's that traffic we've been talking about tonight, Tim, and the Ice Hogs get a big, big goal here in period number 3.
They did a nice job of maintaining control in the zone to get that shot off. And like we talked about, Maschinter at 6'4" is a nice little body in front of the net, and he's not scared to get hit by anything.
No, and he's not a guy that you think a lot of defensemen would really want to tangle up with either. Robin Norrell and Gustafsson should get the assists on that. An even strength 5-on-5 tally for the Rockford Ice Hogs as they are able to jump up here into a 4-2 advantage over Cleveland. Now an icing call against the Monsters will lead to a face-off back down the attacking zone. That's got to be such a relief of a goal for the Rockford Ice Hogs, I would think here. Up by 3, Cleveland comes back to make it a 1-goal game, and now you've got that insurance again off that strike from Maschinter.
Oh, that's a huge goal. I mean, you know everybody was feeling a little nervous. And now you can go back to relaxing and playing.
Mark McNeil will take the draw in the attacking zone. Threw it backwards, but looked like it actually bounced off his own skate. And that gave an opportunity for Maleta to collect. Here come the Monsters through center. Gallant off the left side, trying to drag it towards the cage. Polka was able to get in front of it, clear it to the line no further. It gets tossed in on goal, and that's where Matt Caruth is able to cover up the puck. So with 12 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the third period, we'll have an opportunity to take our first time out of the frame. It's a 4-2 lead for Rockford. We're back with more after this right here on your Rockford Ice Hogs Broadcast Network. When the Ice Hogs win, you win. Back this season, the Rockford Ice Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills, Tim Matilla with you here today. The Ice Hogs back up by 2 in this one, a 4-2 score thanks to a beautiful deflection that came off the stick of Brandon Mashinter as he picks up his first goal of the season. The shot came from Eric Gustafson. Robin Norrell had fed the puck to Gustafson, so that's your scoring line right there. Mashinter from Gustafson and Norrell. And a big goal for Rockford to jump back up by that 2-goal lead. 4-2 the score. Here as action resumes at the BMO. Jake Dowell over to Tanner Caro. Worked against Siebenaller. Down in behind the net. It's around towards the left wing side. Quickly gathered up and a chance to race through the neutral zone by Tynan. Had the puck poked off his stick. Somehow the Monsters stayed on side going into the zone. But with 3 or 4 bodies all occupying the same area of the ice, the puck ends up being sent wide of the net, and the Ice Hogs able to clear. It's pushed right back in by Cleveland, off to the right wing side. Now Hannikainen flipped off the stick of Dowell. He stays with it and clears the zone. Up now to Lundberg. He's scored a goal in this game. Fires a wrister. That one just wide of the net. Off the inboards, back out to the neutral zone. Kyle Bond working it towards the offensive end. The puck deflected off his stick and I believe ended up inside the Monsters bench. 11:52 left here in the third. Rockford has a 4-2 lead. Some discussion going on here, I think, of exactly where the draw should be coming from, but they do elect to leave it right at center ice. Sam Carrick wins the draw back for Rockford right out of the tape of Victor Svedberg. Puck shot in by Rockford. Around now to a former Ice Hog, Alex Broadhurst. Up through center, here comes Scott into the zone. Quick toe drag, and then he takes it wide. It's back now to Cyphers, and PC Labrie, another big shot block there. Looked like that one might have caught him in the hand. Over to the right side, it's Cyphers again. Kukin starts to walk in, now fires a snapshot. It's blockered away by Carruth into the left side corner. Up towards the line, Kukin again, picked off by Mosey, and he lost his footing as he could have had a breakaway chance right there, looking for his first AHL goal perhaps, and just got his feet caught up. He went down, puck is knocked aside.
It looked like there was a sniper in the stands. Took him right out.
Mosey maybe a little bit overexcited there for what would have been a great scoring chance.
You know, you've called his name off more this period than the first 2 periods, in my opinion. I don't know if you noticed, but sure seems like it.
No, I had not noticed. That's why we keep you up here, though, Tim. Here's a pass across to Broadhurst as he sent it forward. Yeah, Mosey's been around the puck a lot, though, certainly here in the third. Here comes Norrell into the zone. He whipped a shot towards the cage. It's off the stick of Broadhurst and back into the neutral zone. Evan Mosey has such a cool story that follows him around as well. He's a native of Downers Grove, Illinois, but he has spent the last couple of seasons out in the English Ice Hockey League as a puck gets tipped up in the air and out of play, and really became a fan favorite out in Nottingham.
Well, he was a Minnesota State / Mankato guy, right?
He was, that's correct.
I recognize that name, yeah.
And yeah, he's got a really loyal contingent of fans from his time over in England that when it was announced that he was coming to the Ice Hogs this year, I remember our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter especially, just an explosion of Evan Mosey fans who had wished him well coming out here. So certainly fun to see a player like that that has made such a big impact in a city coming here to Rockford now. Here's Spencer Abbott off to the right side. Mark McNeil snapped a shot that ended up over the top of the crossbar. 4-2 the score. Ice Hogs lead just past the halfway point of the third. Long drive, Dahlstrom got it in toward the front of the cage. That one never reached the goaltender. Nearly dropped down at the feet of Thiessen, however, but it was pushed away. Brett Gallant through center ice down the left wing side. He had it popped off his stick, but right into the slot. A backhand chance for Bjorkstrand. Couldn't get that one through. Oliver Bjorkstrand with it again. Had it taken away from him by Polka. Out to the blue line now. It's off the skates of Bjorkstrand, up to the line once more. Reaching for the puck was Mark McNeil. Couldn't quite get the toe of his stick on it. Help from Caro at the blue line, and now the Ice Hogs are able to clear the puck out of the zone. 9:15 left, third period. 4-2 is the lead for Rockford. Shot off the right side is swallowed up by the Ice Hogs goaltender, Mac Caruth, and he jumps on top of that one to hold on for a stop of the action. 4-2 is the score. 9:09 left here in the third. Rockford leads in this one. We'll be back with more after this right here on your Rockford Ice Hogs Broadcast Network. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills alongside Illinois Hockey Hall of Famer Tim Matilla with you here as the afternoon contest moves into an evening finish. Rockford up by 2. This one far from concluded. We've seen teams the last couple of games score in bunches against the Ice Hogs, and there's still plenty of time left in this one. Here's a drive. Golubov couldn't get that one through. Now a shot from the right wing side. That one knocked off a body. Comes away towards Bond, and he's able to use the boards off the far side wall to sneak the puck back out through the neutral zone and back down into the Monsters' defensive end. Golubov able to work it forward. Then it's around to the left side, dumped into the Rockford zone. Svedberg helped to tap it around the boards off towards the right wall. Getting his stick blade on it was Lundberg to the blue line. Not enough to clear. Left side, Golubov shot. And that one bounced right in on goal. May have actually kicked off of Svedberg, but Matt Caruth in perfect position made the save there for Rockford. Now here's a feed from Bond. Over to Svedberg. Steps over the blue line, down the right wing side. He got bumped into a bit, did Svedberg. And a penalty call is on the way here for cross-checking, and Victor Svedberg getting into it a bit here and then gets grabbed onto.
Kind of a sucker punch.
A little bit. Svedberg comes up ready to go against Cyphers. Cyphers did not have his gloves off, and fortunately Svedberg, I think, saw that punch coming and sort of, as much as a guy who's 6'9" can duck underneath something, sort of turned it into more of a bear hug than a clean punch to the head. But there was already a cross-checking penalty coming up against the Monsters. Svedberg's off to the box right now here for Rockford as well. But
for what?
Yeah, that looked to me like
falling down and defending himself.
Yeah, exactly. That looked to me like a situation where you would get a cross-checking penalty and then a roughing penalty on top of it against Cleveland. I think that this should have turned out to be a 4-minute power play for Rockford. Instead, it looks like it'll still just be the traditional 2 minutes. But it didn't look to me like Svedberg did a whole lot of anything there to garner a penalty call, unless perhaps it's a unsportsmanlike conduct. Maybe he said something.
Cyphers played at the University of Vermont. Interesting enough. But I don't think I've seen that in quite a while. A guy just running right up to a guy and taking a kind of a sucker punch, I got to be honest.
Well, there's another skater coming over here. So
okay. So it'll be the cross-check and then a mutual roughings. So we'll get a 2-minute power play.
That's what it looks like to me as well. But I think from what I saw initially there, now that's going to depend on exactly what the penalty here is to Svedberg. You'd think that kind of odd that Svedberg's in the penalty box off that exchange, as he really didn't do anything that I saw, at least, to garner a penalty. Rockford does go to the power play, though. 11:47 the time of those penalty calls.
Well, he might have saved Cypher's life, so you could give him that.
Perhaps that is true, as the puck is shot around the boards and back down to the Rockford zone off the face-off. The Ice Hogs here onto their 7th power play of the game. They are 2 for the previous 6 opportunities. Here's the puck into the attacking zone. Ice Hogs trying for their 3rd power play goal of the night. Here comes a 2-on-1 chance, shorthanded, and a great job coming backwards as Cameron Schilling broke up the feed to open up that 2-on-1. Allows the Ice Hogs to regroup. Mark McNeil through center, pass across to Abbott. He tried to slip a check. Czar took the puck from him. And now a 2-on-2 rush for Cleveland into the zone. Snapshot from Czar. That one turned away nicely by Caruth into the left side corner. The Monsters have already scored a shorthanded goal this season against Rockford. It came in the first game of the year. The Ice Hogs got a shorthander against the Monsters as well in game number 2. Still 55 seconds left on this power play for Rockford. Snapshot off the left side. Dahlstrom missed it wide. Perhaps Thiessen had a bit to do with that. Polka hip check in the neutral zone, forced Moleta off the puck. And it's shot all the way back up ice. Luke Johnson curls away, finds Mashinter, right back to Johnson, left side. He skates down to the half boards. Now it's taken away as Johnson wanted to find Langlois, held into the zone, and looking for another deflection there was Mashinter, but this time Thiessen able to swallow it up. 25 seconds left on the Rockford power play, 6:38 to go. Here in the third, Rockford leads by a 4-2 score.
So situational hockey to score, they're down by 2. So if you notice, their last 2 times down, even though they're penalty killing, they're not icing the puck and being happy with that. They're trying to create 2-on-1, 2-on-2s because they know that they're down by 2 goals. So the game has changed a little on the PK.
Sometimes that aggressive style can really cross up a power play unit too if you have gotten used to a team playing you one way on the penalty kill and all of a sudden they switch it. So far, Cleveland's done a nice job of preventing the Ice Hogs from establishing much in the way of offensive pressure, and here comes Kukin again, and there's another chance here where instead of shooting it down there, Tim, you see Kukin race all the way into the Rockford zone. Now Tynan comes across to prevent a clearing opportunity. Shot block, goes to Bond, rolled off his stick blade, flipped up in the air. Craig chasing, Gustafson gets there first and hands off to Schilling. That's the end of the Rockford power play. Although up by 2 late in the game, you figure if you don't score on the power play, the real focus, though, would probably have to be making sure you don't give up a shorty. So in that case, mission accomplished there for Rockford.
Yeah, I thought Cleveland did a nice job of being very aggressive. But in our situation, we're playing against the clock right there.
And that 2 minutes certainly worked to eat that time away. Under 6 minutes now left here in the third. Rockford up by 2 in a 4-2 score. Puck is away to the right wing side. Palushai, who's got one of those 2 tonight for the Monsters, got it down. Broadhurst put it up towards the left side wall. He was looking to collect with Salaturo on that play, but not able to get it there. Rockford clears back down to the other side of the ice. Goluboff with it. He works his way through center. Knocked away from him and then off the stick of Carrick. Rolls back out to center ice. Broadhurst upended. Puck comes loose off the left side. PC Labrie into the zone. He slows up, waits for Mosey, who takes it toward the front of the net. Poke checked aside. Mosey follows it up into the right side corner. Now up to Dahlstrom. Winds, fires. Nice deflection from Carrick. He just missed it off the far goalpost. Now it's Labrie from Carrick. Left wing corner boards. Put down in behind the net. Goluboff not able to get away as PC Labrie got tangled there. Fans perhaps protesting for a holding call. None is on the way. Puck to the blue line. Big drive leads to a snapped stick once again. This time it's Mosey whose stick failed him. And Broadhurst will start his way up ice. Mosey in this third period has had a couple bits of tough luck as here's a turnover now. Walking in, Yavenko, deflection in front. Caruth was looking around after he made the save, but it was tucked into the goaltender's body. 4 minutes, 20 seconds left to go, third period. And the Ice Hogs continue to hold their 4-2 lead. It'll be a defensive zone draw upcoming after this. We'll be back with more right here on your Rockford Ice Hogs Broadcast Network. Welcome back out here to the BMO Harris Bank Center. Bob Mills alongside Tim Matilla with you here today. It is the Rockford IceHogs who have the lead, 4-2 the score, 4 minutes, 20 seconds left to go, third period. A face-off set to occur deep down in the IceHog zone, just to the left of the Rockford goaltender, Matt Carruth, who's put forth a very strong effort once again here for Rockford. 24 stops, 26 shots on the IceHog netminder. Face-off in the defensive zone. Puck is dropped, comes away over to the near side. Tanner Caro moved it around, as eventually it's Norrell to pick up the puck, and he shoots it around the boards, back around to the right wing side. Players tangle up, Hannikainen with a stick on it. McNeil there for Rockford, helped to keep it deep in the offensive zone. Kukin trying to get away from Caro. Puck batted off his stick blade. It rolls all the way back down to the Rockford zone, right in on the goaltender Carruth. Pushed aside to Gustafson. Back then for Caro. Tried to make a one-touch play out of the zone, couldn't get it out. Trickles in on goal. Carruth makes the save. Rebound to the blue line. Brookbank down the wall, comes right back to him. And away to the left wing side, Czar. Played it down towards Tynan. Backhand out in front, rolls aside. Brookbank shoots. That one hit traffic, never did find its way to Carruth. Loose puck near side, McNeil. And he flings it out of the zone. Under 3.5 left here in the third. It is a 4-2 lead for the Rockford IceHogs here over the Monsters. Puck taken right through center by Justin Scott. Now sent into the high slot. Cameron Schilling came out against Broadhurst to knock it away. Here comes the goaltender to the bench already. With about 3 minutes left to go in the third, the net is empty. Victor Svedberg floats the puck high up in the air. Langlois chasing. He shoots the rolling puck just wide off the end boards, and that one just missed from Maschinter. Back down around the other side. Here comes Broadhurst in along the left wing wall. He shoots one just wide of the far goal post. Curls around in behind the net. Comes loose towards the near corner. Svedberg racing to it. 2:40 left to go in the third frame. 6-on-5. The strength on ice for Cleveland. It's back now. Kukin off the right side. Boards over to the left wing. Broadhurst holds it in the circle. Up top, Kukin with a big shot. That one over the top of the crossbar. Back away to the right side wing. Maschinter helped to knock that puck free. Then glove down a move to the blue line. Keeps the puck in the corner, but the Monsters able to grab onto it there. Palushai got tied up once more along the end wall. Loose puck collected this time by Svedberg, and he got just enough to get it out over the blue line, and Kukin forced to come back in control. Rink-wide feed is gathered up by Siebenaller. Put it down to the Rockford zone. Schilling back down to Carrick. Carrick, nice bit of stick handling to get free. Goes off the far side wall. Labrie trying to outrace an icing call. But the first player back for the Monsters, Cody Golubeff, able to force that whistle to sound. 1:53 still left here in regulation. Rockford up by a 4-2 score. Aggressive time to pull the goalie, but so far, no harm done against the Monsters, and I think at this point, the goalie would have been out anyway.
Yeah, by now. But this is why coaches get old very fast. Notice the last 2.5, 3 minutes, the desperation by Cleveland and the aggressiveness and the opportunities, correct? And you want to have that every shift, and it's just not reality. But there's a desperation, and they have just been dominating us right now. So that's what just frustrates coaches. You know, everybody says every shift play, it's like your last. Well, it's a nice coaching line, but if you can get them to do that, you're going to win some games.
Yeah. Yeah, and you say, like, you mentioned, it's just not really something that you can realistically expect from your team. If you played 76 games a season with the type of desperation that the Monsters clearly have in the final 2 minutes down by 2, I think probably 30 games in, you'd be so worn down, it'd be hard to keep that up for the whole year.
Correct.
A timeout was called on the ice. That's the reason for the brief delay, is Monsters looking to set up in the attacking zone. Rockford deep down in their own end following the icing call. Even though you call a timeout, you're still not allowed to change your on-ice personnel. So the same ones are out there for Rockford. Carrick wins the draw back to Svedberg. Got it to the blue line. Couldn't get it out of the zone, however. It's back around to the left wing side. Good race there by Svedberg. Got tangled up with Hannikainen. Puck loose to the corner. Victor Svedberg got to it first. Smart play right there. He knew he didn't have anywhere he could go with that puck, so he just ate it in the corner. And then a diving shot puck right by P.C. Labrie. Boy, has he been fearless tonight. Here's Czar with a big drive. Svedberg went down to block it. He doesn't have his stick anymore. And it was right in on goal. Caruth kicked it away. Rolling puck got away from Labrie. He finds it again and whistles it just wide of the empty net. Back through the neutral zone as the puck got tangled up with Bjorkstrand. Out along the blue line. Labrie with it again. He holds onto it on the backhand just away from Baun. All the way over to the right wing side. Now Goluboff with control. Able to work it through center. It's Scott. Sends it toward the front of the net. Quick backhand feed. High up into the air over the top of the bar off a deflection. Final minute here of period number 3. Rockford up by 2. Net still empty for the Cleveland Monsters. Down to the right side, Tynan in behind the cage. Palushai, backhand centering play deflected away. Jake Dowell with control, able to scoop a backhander out to center once again. 40 seconds left to go here in the third. Puck into the Rockford zone once more. It is Scott down to the corner. Behind the net, long clear by Rockford to an empty net, and it's in! That puck shot all the way down ice by Carl Dahlstrom. He hit that empty net from about 200 feet. 29.9 left here. The Ice Hawks take a 5-2 lead. Always a little bit of a risk there when you shoot for the empty net from deep in your own zone, but hey, if you make it work, might as well take it. Rockford now up by 3.
Well, now, it's a 2-goal lead, so I would be willing to let them go ahead and try and score. If it's a 1-goal lead and you ice the puck, you're giving up another face-off in your zone. So a lot of times coaches make that distinction.
Good point. So there you have it. Dahlstrom puts it in. 19:30, the time of that strike, an empty net goal from Dahlstrom, the first empty netter we've seen on either side of the ice in a game involving the Rockford Ice Hawks this season. Dahlstrom gets his second of the year. The Ice Hawks up by 3 as time starts to wind down. Here in the third, Mark McNeil. Nice toe drag to get around Yavenko. Puck ends up, moved around to Abbott. He gets bumped. It comes loose now. Salaturo with control. Got it back around to Maleta. He fires it in as time expires, and that'll do it. The Rockford Ice Hawks are able to snap the skid against the Monsters after 7 straight without a win. The Ice Hawks able to get right back at it on home ice, and what a week of games for the Hogs. 3-3 against 2 of your fiercest rivals, and then the defending Calder Cup champion. And what do the Ice Hawks do? They go 6 for 6 in terms of points, and a great job done by Rockford over this 3-game set, Tim.
Oh, absolutely. And I know, watching Labrie, I hear a lot of good things about him. He's a 3rd or 4th line guy, but in the locker room, he's got to be just ultimately respected. He blocked several shots that most guys would have came off the ice crying about. So you know the whole team was rooting for him when he came down the left side to hit that net. That's the kind of teammates that everybody has to have on their bench.
Yeah, and you talk about it. I can think of at least 2 off the top of my head. The one that hit him in the foot back in period number 2, and then the one that went off his hand from Cyphers, I believe, delivering that shot back there in period number 3. When you get hit in the glove, your gloves aren't really designed to take a shot. I mean, they're more protection from sticks whacking you as opposed to getting hit by a puck. That certainly stings, and PC Labrie, very courageous. Here's the 3 stars.
Number 53, Brandon Maschenter. Tonight's number 2 star had the win in net for the Ice Hogs, 35, Matt Caruth. Number 1 star from the Ice Hogs, 27, Kyle Baun.
Nice outing for the Rockford Ice Hawks. Kyle Baun with a pair of points, able to take the 1st star honors. Here's Kevin Peters with Brandon Maschenter.
Ice Hawks for Brandon Maschenter. Brandon, that win marks the 3rd in a row for the Ice Hawks. What's been going right for you guys during this stretch?
We got a lot of guys that like to work hard on our team, and every day we come and just try to get in their zone and work them low and just wear them down. And I think the last 3 games we've been doing that, and it's been working out for us.
Yeah, and you had a similar play to Kyle Baun's first goal, a big slapper from Eric Gustafson, and you get the redirect. Walk us through what happened down there.
Yeah, we had a good entry there, and Johnny got it up to Gus. Gus moved over to Norsey and made a nice shot, and I got lucky and got the tip.
All right, thanks, Brandon. That was Ice Hawks for Brandon Maschenter.
So there's Kevin Peters with Brandon Maschinter. Rockford gets a big win in this one. 5-2 the final score after the empty net from Carl Dahlstrom as he was able to sink it from deep in his own zone. So the Rockford Ice